You can sign up, and they're giving tons of things are free. So if you want to use it, go ahead, use it. Same thing with other people's cloud. This technology is Cloud Foundry. AppFog is another company in Oregon that got acquired by CTL-C, which is, what is the name of the site? It's not CTL-C.
Control-C was.
Yes, actually it is this phone company in our region, CenturyLink.
Oh.
CenturyLink.
Really?
Yes, they got AppFog.
They acquired that.
Yes. So, and CenturyLink acquired AppFog to build their own platform as a service. And here it is. And by the way, let us not talk about that company or my opinion about that company, but this product is good, this AppFog, and which is available at CenturyLink. CenturyLink Pass. Let's see what comes up. And they have something to do with like Control-C. There's a website apparently. And so here is English language. And they have another acquisition, which is an infrastructure acquisition. And AppFog is a platform acquisition, and they're modernizing. CenturyLink essentially is modernizing, which is nice. So we have, compute solutions, storage solutions, network solutions, bunch of other solutions. But overall, it is not just a phone company anymore, apparently, because nobody's using phones. I don't know if you have a landline. I never had a landline in this state.
I have Vonage, which is as close as I ever.
I don't even have Vonage. So I use strictly Google Voice for all international calls, and for local calls, the cell phone.
I'm in a black hole where none of the wireless, I could have voice over IP, but I still have a landline. And DSL.
So if you have this Google address, you can get a voice over IP built in if you have internet, right?
Yeah.
Like this.
And for me coming in over the network DSL, it'd be on a landline.
Okay. Stay, maybe you should move.
It's all about
Oh,
price.
yeah.
Right.
Comcast.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for
Yeah,
so let me mute, and I'll say something.
Good. I'll do that next time.
Yeah. So back to what we're talking about is take any app and some platform, put it on a platform as a service. It runs. You have to pay them money by the hour, by the node, by the gizmo, by the gear or whatever. So some unit of consumption per month you have to pay them, and they'll help you scale out and scale back as needed. And that's the ease that platform provider provides to an application developer. Okay. So back in this discussion of here versus things layered on top. Here, the typical user is the end user. Here, the typical end user is a developer. Devs of applications will pay the PaaS company. And platform providers are the users of infrastructure, typically. And the dudes who are using some software will be, the software consumers. And so that's the topic that we'll now switch over after having, used this Heroku in depth, understood what other choices are available. If you want to do more exercises with the Red Hat or OpenShift or other things or Cloud Foundry, welcome. Do that with me. If you want written down, let's build it. I'm open to that idea. Now, having said, let us name some of the very popular software as a service that we use every single day almost. What would that be? Like extremely popular. One is right next door, Google Apps. Not GAPPS, GApps. So Google Apps for Work has a variety of flavors to it. There is a Google Apps limited edition, which doesn't exist anymore. It was free. So it used to be Google Apps for your domain for free, and it still exists in a limited set. Some people have it. I think you have it. So that's Google Apps, and you get the documents, spreadsheets, spreadsheets, if I can spell it. You get presentations and all the current modality that you already are very familiar with when you go to Inbox and say, actually go to drive.google.com, and you can just create whatever you want. And you have used this many times before, and so you can just say create, and you can create whatever you want. All these choices. You're familiar with that? Do you know how to set this up for your own domain? It takes like total of 15 minutes. Do you want to do that? The question is, do you want to do that? Do you want to buy a domain and do it for your own domain? It'll be free for 30 days, after which Google will charge you. So I think it's worthwhile exercise. It is worthwhile exercise, and the things that I want to highlight is, where do we go? Here. So google.com/a. That's where you begin.
You don't even have to use a credit card.
Yeah, credit card is not needed.
After 30 days.
Yeah, 30 it will just stop. Yeah. So here, and that's what I'm suggesting is you will need a credit card for buying a domain name, which you can get for $1.
So where are you doing that, Jeff?
So I'm giving you the link. The link is this.
Yeah.
Do you have matt.com already?
No, I'm brainstorming.
Right. So get that. And so 1and1.com will give you a domain. And so buy it for $1. And then there are two choices that you have. One of them is this, to take your domain or matt.com to Google Apps, or the other choice is to take your domain and map it to Office 365 is a beautiful set of services. It has some of my products in there. I'm not selling it to you, but the idea is that you can take Office 365 and mount it on your own domain. And all it takes is 15 minutes of exercise.
So I just want to mention, if you get your own domain, 1&1, the downside is if it's a domain you want to keep for more than a year, you really need to feel like getting it off of 1&1, not at the end of the year, but at
90 days.
9th month,
90 days.
Or they'll charge you for another year, full price, plus a transfer fee. So if you use it like matt.com, if you happen to get that's a pretty good domain name.
Yeah.
And you probably want to keep that. And if you have something else you want, just think about transferring it if it's something you really want long term, because you don't want to stay on that.
Not at all. I mean, I have taken all my domains away from them into here. And this is a very good company. I like it. Some people like this company also. GoDaddy.
And Amazon also will do your domain name.
Right.
It's $12.
Yeah, they charge more. GoDaddy is cheaper sometimes. 1&1 is $1. And then we have more companies such as, there's a whole list of companies, and I'm just giving you some of the highlights. Good ones. This is another good one, Hover.com. The good ones do not have a $1 price. That's the unfortunate part. Yeah, like this one is a pretty good one, very good company. Pricing is clean, $5 or $7 per domain. but they don't give you like gimmicks in terms of pricing. They just have a set price, and that's the price. And so if you want a price that they have, then you use it. Otherwise, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, because GoDaddy, like, will do like $1 for .com,
Huh.
but then it's, you know, regular price for any other extension.
Right.
Because the .coms are already so used, it's hard
They're
to find
gone.
any
They're gone.
useful,
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. So in fact, I just got a domain from 1&1 for $1 just to test it out. And so I have it. Where is that? 1&1. I never purchased a domain at 1&1, so I did. So break time? Yeah, go ahead. If you want to take a break, totally up for that.
Well, it'll be embarrassing if I don't.
So our idea would be to actually take a break. Take a break and get a domain, and then do the exercises of taking our domain and mounting it on Google Apps for Work or Office 365, and ideally finish that exercise in 30 minutes. Like with all the things and all the services up and running, meaning our ideal outcome is we should be able to send and receive email that are correctly identified as sent by matt.com, signed by matt.com. And so which means our MX records are all set, which means that our SPF is clear, which means our DKIM is clear. You heard me say these things before, did you? So if you don't know what these things are and how to do it, that will be a part to make sure that these things work correctly.
for the Google Apps.
Yeah.
There's no DKIM.
Yeah, no DKIM in Office 365 yet. So in here, you need to enable these things from our domain name services for email to work correctly. Then you need to have your drive functioning correctly. You need to have the ability to collaborate on documents like we already do. Like you've seen us collaborate on documents that we create in Google Drive and things like that. That becomes enabled. Then we have some other things such as in Office 365, you will have similar exercises, except there is SPF, but no DKIM yet. Huh? Sorry?
O365, I don't think it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, it'll take maybe 30. Yeah, there are a lot more settings in there, and there is this link configuration, which is not very well documented. Yeah, and so we have to have a scenario where we can set up link software on our devices and phones and laptops, and then use our domain mounted on Office 365 to communicate using link. Configure SharePoint, to configure a bunch of other services that Office provides, and like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And all these things are doable in the next 30 or so minutes. And that is our plan. So do you have a domain already? You have it. I think you finished the exercise on Google Apps. You're hosted on Google Apps, right? Already?
Yeah, for that domain.
Okay.
I can create a new one.
Yeah. You can just play with the settings. If you have a domain name server, you can just modify, create a subdomain. Don't buy a domain if you have one already. Create a subdomain and mount it against that.
Mm-hmm.
That is possible. Unless you find a good domain that you want to keep, then buy it. Otherwise, don't waste $1.
Right. Yeah, I guess there's a subdomain.
Yeah. So some of the things that I would like to highlight in our discussion when Matt comes back is this aspect of DNS and the difference between the name seller versus name server. And that has to be very clearly understood, is that they do not have to be the same. Meaning 1&1 will give you DNS. This is the seller. And it also gives you a DNS server. You don't have to use them.
in for the web host.
Yes. So I'm beginning with just the DNS part. Like this clarity of thought of separation between seller and server is important. While you were away, we were discussing the fact that we need to disambiguate and very clearly understand when we are dealing with name services that we have to distinguish between name seller and name server. So the idea is the people who sell you a name will tend to give you a name server for free and entice you to use that name server. It is in their interest. And you definitely do not want to use that name server. You want to use something else that you control. So for example, 1&1 will, when you open an account, they'll give you a name server. You don't want to use that. You want to use your own. You want to use Route 53 or something else, but not them. And the reason is you want to unassociate name server from name seller. Like these are two distinctly different items. Don't mix them up. The clarity that you have by keeping it away from the seller gives you the flexibility to change your selling company name registrar whenever you feel like.
So are you saying that when you get a domain name, I can apply it to any sets of servers and locations over and over and over again?
Yes, you can change it, but there's no
Versus
point.
selling a server, they give me the namespace and the server, and then when I leave them, they take care of it.
Yes, they'll play all sorts of gimmicks that are hard to manage once you're stuck with them. So it's important to keep your name server in your control, not with the control of name seller.
Yes.
So when you buy a name, they'll typically give you, let's see what they gave me. So I'm going to go to my control panel and say I have a domain name. Where is that domain?
This is 1&1.
This is 1&1. It's kind of hard. But where is my domain? Home. My data. No, where is my home? Where is my domain? There it is, manage domain. So in here, they gave me 2 or 3 different name servers. They were all 1&1 name servers. But I decided to not use them because as a principle, I would like to keep my servers, name servers separate. And that's exactly what I did. So let's find out what I did. The result you can find out very quickly by asking what are the name servers for the domain I bought. So I'll say dig, and then the name of my domain, and ask the name servers, and see what my name servers are. Is a different location than 1&1. So this is actually Namekeep domain that I'm using currently. All these 5 name servers are not 1&1 servers. They're registrar servers from a different company. Let's look at another example. Clear. Dig. And let's find out the name servers for Cloud Genius. And enter. And see what it pulls up. You will find that I'm using Amazon's name servers. Here.
Oh, there you go.
So it's disassociation between the name seller and the name server is critical for large businesses. And you will see this example in many, many cases of large businesses. For example, you will see Dig, Microsoft, NS. And they are so big that they have their own name servers. Right. Same with another big company here. So Ing. And you run your own name servers. Totally cool. But when you buy it from 1&1, they'll give you some name servers from them. We don't want that. So you keep them separate, another location. And that gives you the flexibility of modifying your domain records as and when you like, even if you're not with them. So you can just change your company, transfer it to another location, and still keep that name server. The idea in a nutshell is this person who sells you the name, you can keep changing from this company to this company to this company while keeping your server at Amazon Web Services Route 53. And doesn't even matter where you are, which vendor are you with at that moment. You can be at 1&1, you can be at GoDaddy, or wherever you like.
The Route 53 let you partition very well.
So let's see how Route 53 does. I think it's a question that is relevant. So I would show you Route 53 by logging in there. So here in Amazon Route 53, what I have is just one domain, and that is this. And there are 56 records currently, lots of them. So let's go to the record set, and you will find there are a bunch of entries. These are all the entries that I currently use, and so you can examine the whole detail. But the key that I'm trying to bring out to your attention is that this was purchased, this domain, DOMAIN, was purchased at a company called Namecheap. And this company is giving name servers also, but I'm not using them. I'm using AWS Route 53 because I'm not Boeing and I'm not Microsoft. So I need a high quality, production quality name server for my business. And that's why I spent 40 cents every month to get this for this company domain that I have, and I professionally manage it here as opposed to on Namecheap or 1&1 or GoDaddy, because these are relatively smaller companies compared to Amazon's. And I learned this lesson hard way. Do you remember how the example, the hard way, how why I switched over to this? Was this case of when I bought this domain at Namecheap, I was using their name server, just like a dumb person would. If you don't know what you're doing, they just you got the name server, you're happy with it, you just use it. And somebody attacked them, denial of service, distributed denial of service on the name servers of Namecheap. And for 3 full days, my site was not accessible at all. And that's when I decided that I do not want anybody who can actually get impacted by attacks on the name server. My site is up and running. I can log into the site by IP address. Everything is fine. But users are not able to log in. And that's just bad. And that's when I said, I'm going to spend 40 cents every month. And that's the clear distinction I want to point out, is that this name, they give you a name server for free, don't take that. If you're doing serious business, take it away. Right? So you in Boeing, you have internal name servers and you manage that. That's professionally managed, no worries. But if you're buying a domain for yourself, do this due diligence of keeping it isolated from them. Having said, this distinction, the other distinction that you just pointed out, which is they'll tend to sell you some hosting services. You don't have to take them. You can host your application on Heroku, or I know. You don't need a host, and because you know what you're doing, you can create your applications, you can create your solutions, and build them out. So you should not be necessarily using the services these guys provide for apparently cheap, but they're not really. So it's very cumbersome to use their services, and sometimes this is from GoDaddy are not that high quality in terms of performance. Performance sometimes is questionable. That's my observation. So having said, our idea would be to use our software as a service. So the two examples we have will be apps, Google Apps for Work, which is on google.com/a. So google.com/a.
Stop that.
It was not flowing?
No, it wasn't.
No, it is.
No, it is.
Okay, maybe some wireless sluggishness. So it was, we are transmitting this from wireless from here to here.
Yeah.
That may be the reason. So Google Apps for Work, the way to do that is fairly simple. You go to that site, sign up. Give your first name, last name, business, organization. They'll make you a phone call, authenticate you that you are a real person, not a machine. And then they'll give you all the details needed to enable your Google Apps for Work. 15 minutes, you have your own domain, your email, everything working. From the perspective of getting your mail records, your SPF, DKIM, all these things. Do you want to do that exercise now? Open question. Do you have a domain already? Yes. Let's do that then. Let's do it. So we're here. This is the domain. This is the website called google.com/a. It will not take long. So google.com/a will let you sign up for 30-day plan. Don't give them a credit card, but that will give you some information to set up your Matt.com, for example, on Google Apps.
So from there.
Progress, because for the purpose of this class, I have bought the domain that I showed you. So I'm going to do it with you. So here it goes. So I'm going to give my email address at work and my name. Number of employees, country. And they'll call me right now, apparently. And so the verification will happen. I will want to use a domain I already have purchased, or you can buy a new domain right here for $8. Maybe $12. Sometimes it is $8. So they charge you money here. If you already have a domain from 1&1, you use that one, then you have to pay only $1. And so in this case, I already have a domain, so I'm going to use it. This is a real company that my family members are building in India. So they're just trying to start something, and it's a retail operation. So that's why the name I chose. So I'm going to use that as an exercise and hand it off to them.
Might as well.
Right.
Work while you're.
Why not?
Absolutely.
1654, and I would like to receive spam, and I have agreed. And so accept and sign up. That basically, this is it. There's not much to it. So you sign up. What you get in return is records for MX. You also get your account email hosted on Google like this. So that's pretty much it. Now we are done. So start. You begin with verification of ownership of your domain. You add people. I don't want to add more people right now. So this is good. I added everybody, so I just have only one. And go next. And now you have to verify the domain. That you have to verify that you actually own this domain. They'll give you a meta tag. You put it on your web host. We don't have a meta tag. Or don't have a web host right now. So I'm not doing this way. But instead, use another method of verification. I don't have a head and a body. So use a different method. And the different method I'm going to use, and this is simple. I'm using a text record method, which basically says that I will create a text record, go to the control panel of your domain, add a text record for your domain, and save the text record and come back here and verify. Right? So it says, looks like your domain is hosted with Namecheap. Correct. So open the Namecheap website in a new tab along and open the Namecheap website, sign in. In your case, if you have a one-on-one domain, lots of security steps involved. Everywhere there is a verification step needed in my case. I cannot log into any site without it. So here we have the domain, which we'll find somewhere here, domains, manage domains, and hosted domains, and that's the domain. So here we have to add a TXT record. So we'll say, what's the instruction? I've successfully logged in. I have opened the control panel. I want to add this value inside the Namecheap control panel and put that text symbol that they gave us, call it a TXT record, and put in a time to live value of 1800 or so. You see what I'm doing here? I'm putting a TTL value, creating a text record TXT type, putting a verification string, and the subdomain is itself. Having provided this verification, the text string that they provided, I'm going to save it in my panel like this. And it did save. It is showing up here at this moment, at this location. So we'll go back here and say I added the verification and save the TXT record and verify. So I'm going to say I saved the TXT record and now please verify. So in the next 4 minutes, it should verify that
that was my question.
had verified.
If there's an overlap somewhere else, that verify will say already exists and kick you out. If you were to try to register msn.com for yourself, it would say, so sorry.
Yeah, it will fail to buy the domain for you. But if for some reason you actually think that you own it, then you cannot create a TXT record inside msn.com. So this verification will fail. In my case, it verified. So what Google is doing is making sure that you are the rightful owner.
You couldn't have modified that if you didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Ownership verification is what we just did. So if you have access to the DNS control panel, then you can add a TXT record. And if you can add the right record they want you to add, then verification succeeds. Otherwise, it fails. You can do nothing. You cannot become an MSN.com owner without actually buying MSN.com from Microsoft.
Can, trying to remember how, if we go to a command prompt and look at that DNS, you should be able to see that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like this. Dig.
Yeah.
And then little fancy world.com and txt, and there we go.
Right, and that's what it's.
So we have the Google site verification string here.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, right.
So we can, that's exactly what Google will do, is run the dig command and find out the txt record and compare with what they gave us. And is that the right one? And then it is. And so it says verified successfully. That's exactly what they're doing. So it's basically going to that location, looking up the DNS record for that domain, txt record for the domain.
1,800 minutes or
Seconds, seconds.
That text record goes away, right?
Time to live, time to live. It'll get refreshed. It's a time, it'll get refreshed. It doesn't die away.
Oh, okay. It's in there permanently.
It's in there. It's in there until you actually go back to your control panel here and then kill it like this.
Right, which kind of, I guess, you probably should at some point, right?
You don't have to, but it's okay to remove once you're verified. You can move along.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay to, once you're verified, you can move. But in my case, in the other example, let's see if I have a txt record somewhere that is about verification. I might have left it, and there it is.
Okay.
You see, in my Cloud Genius example, I have this verification record sitting and doing nothing, and that's not needed. But I still have it, and it's left over. And in case of TTL in seconds, let's read what TTL is, and that is described in this yellow box. So it is the resource record cache time to live in seconds. Meaning, this value determines how long a record set is cached by the DNS
So if you were
servers.
changing it rapidly.
Yeah.
Then you would want the time to live to be short.
Short, exactly. In my case, I kept it 1 minute. Yeah, I kept it 1 minute.
Could be anything.
Yeah, you can keep really long numbers, and if you do that, it makes you resilient to DNS problems, because DNS servers worldwide will cache your value, and even if there is an attack going on, at least for that 1800 seconds, you're not impacted. So if you get a really long TTL, it's okay to get attacked. I mean,
Right.
that's what it means essentially, because your entry is cached. Everybody else knows that that's the value and that's okay to keep, even if it is apparently stale, 1800 seconds old, but it's okay. So in example so most efficiently managed name servers will give you very short TTL values as an option. Like here, in case of 1 minute, 60-second TTL. If you go try on Namecheap, try 60-second, they'll complain.
Yeah.
They'll say, yeah, too short, make it big. Because they have to do work. They have to like update the whole world about, hey, here's the new value, take this. Every minute, because 60-second TTL. Every minute they have to update the whole world. Hey, my new TTL, my new value for this TXT record is, take this. And everybody will update every minute. It's expensive. And they do not want to give expensive services for free. These guys. This is a free service.
It's kind of a side trail, but I guess I could Google it. But yeah, I'll Google it.
It's okay to say.
Well, I'm just interested, I mean, I've never delved into, I know DNS somewhat, but I've never delved into how does, that's a pretty monumental task, if you think about that.
Yes.
Updating all DNS servers in the world,
Yes.
and how exactly.
So there is a protocol called Bind,
Yeah,
and Bind is an application in open source that every computer will run. Every computer will run. Bind is, I think, Internet Consortium software. So it is available in all Unixes, and even Windows has their own method of DNS. But this is the software that actually looks for what is the authoritative record. So if you look at this entry, it'll tell you whether it is authoritative or not. It is not. If you look at some other entry, let's say it will tell you authoritative answer. Where is the authoritative answer? Maybe I'm not looking at right way. But the idea is these servers, every computer will actually fetch information about the recently asked names that they have been asked. And how do you ask for a name? By visiting the site. So you go to, say, littlefancyworld.com. So I just asked for it. And so there is this thing coming up, right? Some new site being built. Somebody is building. It is me. So, yeah. So this computer did not know, but it just resolved that name. And so the local bind operation actually looked for that name from the nearby name servers and gathered the information for corresponding A record for this domain. So dig, and then the domain, and then you have your A record. That's how it will cache, and then according to the TTL values, store that cached information for that much long number of seconds, and then will expire and then get again. So it's a pull-based method.
Right.
And that's how everybody would like to pull and keep the records safely cached as defined by the TTL value. That's how it pulls. So having proceeded with this step, after verification, the simple next steps are, you're done. So you go to control panel and you set up your MX records and you choose a plan. Apparently they're not giving you a free option for 30 days anymore, apparently. So you have to choose a flexible plan or annual plan. So depending on the plans you get, and based on the plan you obtain, they'll give you some details to add in your MX record that looks something like this. Where is the MX entries? Have you seen the MX entries from Google? They look like this. So for priority 1, use this server. Priority 5, use this server. Priority 10, use these servers. So for Google is basically hosting your email, and anytime somebody is sending you email, they will find out from these records where the email needs to go. So the email flow, as you may have already be aware of, is if say Nilesh is sitting here and wants to send email to Matt on matt.com, and Matt will receive it. So Matt has a matt.com server. This is the mail server. And Matt will look at his phone, and his phone device will look up your email from your mail server. Now when Nilesh wants to send an email from the Macintosh that I have here, I will create an email address, put to and subject line and the body, and prepare that message. And this to line and the domain part of it will determine where the mail should go. It'll go out from SMTP protocol. But once that series of packets flow out of my computer, they will need to know where they need to land. And they look at matt.com MX records, and they will look something like this. And this tells the email flow to go to Google instead of going to matt.com. So don't go to matt.com because Matt is actually hosting the email in Google. So this email that I wrote will self-discover that it needs to go to Google instead. And it will flow to Google and sit there in the mail server in the priority order, depending on what you define. If this server is down, then take the next one. And that's how the emails will eventually settle down in some box it finds. And if it doesn't find a destination, it will come back to me. And once this mail is sitting here, when Matt wants to log on to his email account using his phone, which is configured to look up this. So he will log on to matt.com, but matt.com itself is actually hosted on Google in this example. So Matt will actually configure his mail client to imap.gmail.com. And from there, we'll pull down his email. And then this email that I'm sending him becomes visible to you on the phone. That's the flow of email. And that the key decision factor is actually these records in MX. That's it in your DNS that you find here in your control panel that you go to, say, admin.google.com. In the control panel, they will give you exact instructions on how to configure. And to make it even easier on you, most companies that are giving you name servers, like this Namecheap guys, will give you a ready-made solution to just click one button and tell them, hey, please configure my MX records, assuming that I'm going to host on Google, and they'll do it for you in one click. Here is how it looks like. So I'm just showing you that for a quick example. You just select that I do not want email, I want Namecheap email, I want free forwarding, or I want to use some quick settings, and I'm using, by the way, Google Apps Mail. So this one checkbox will automatically populate. There we go. So this is, some of the providers will give you this choice of simple. You want to host your Namecheap email, so all these things will change over. But if you, the moment you select this will populate with what Google expects it to be. And then you save. And when you save, you have proceeded ahead with your Google Apps for your domain. And then Google will know that you have your Gmail app functioning currently with your domain based on the records that you provide here. Now comes the topic of SPF. Have you set SPF already? Did you? I think it's a good time if you're professionally hosted, right? So you should do that. If you're hosted on SPF, if you're hosted on Google, you should do these two settings right now. And I'll tell you how and where. Identify your Google Apps that you have hosted and look at the Gmail app. In the Gmail application, you will find some settings for DKIM right there. So go there, and if you're doing it first time, you will have no entries like this. And here you will have a _ Google entry that you want to create. And maybe since this is, let's see if you are doing it, maybe you should project so others can see what you're doing if you haven't done it. You have your domain hosted on Google Apps, right?
I have one listing as well.
But do you have your DKIM set correctly there?
No, I haven't said it.
Why don't you go to that domain instead, the one that you are already using in production? Go to admin.google.com and also project so others can see what you're doing.
So this one's actually successful.
For the Seattle IT business account that you have, do you have that posted? Or
That's on a separate thing. The one that's on Google Apps.
So if you think about this DKIM, essentially is a key-based authentication. So they're giving you a key. You can generate a new record, a stop authentication, but I don't want to do that because this is production and actually running. What I'm going to show you is another example where maybe I can create a new one, generate a new record. Maybe this will work. So in generating a new record, it asks you to create a new prefix, some kind of a label that you want to add here. So I can use any prefix I want, like Matt, for example, and then generate a new key. And now if you look at Matt.domain key as a text record, there is no such thing in my records. So if you look at this key entry for my domain, you will not find it. It doesn't exist. There is no TXT record corresponding to that. So if you run this command, it will not give you any result like this. All it says is the start of authority begins from here, from Amazon, but it doesn't give you a text record value because it doesn't exist. So you have to create that. And you have to put this value for the signature for DKIM. And when you do that, then it will start authentication. And the end result is that any emails that you send, let's say meetup, and click on this, and you say mailed by Cloud Genius. Similar to that, if you send me an email, it'll also have a signed by Cloud Genius entry. Have you seen that in emails that I sent to you? Let's see if we have an email from Chuck that will have it. So here, not this, this. Yeah. So here is an email from Chuck, and you will find that Chuck's mails are mailed by Cloud Genius and signed by Cloud Genius. This signature confirmation happens through the DKIM signature, which is available to us in the control panel at this location, like this, when you generate a new record. And in practice, what you would do is you take this key and add an entry like this. You add a TXT record with this value. It will become a TXT record for you. And Google will, at the times of sending any emails, it will verify that you are indeed the machine that is authorized to send. And by putting this signature, we are authorizing Google servers to send on behalf of our domain. If you don't have that, then this is what happens. If you do not put the signature, see what happens when you do not have a signature as an example. Let's say an email coming from Boeing. Boeing sends me this email. Dennis sends me this email, and it is mailed by, signed by, so it's sent by Gmail, not Boeing. Let's find this email. Yeah, it is mailed by Boeing. Yeah, but it is not signed by Boeing, right? That's a problem. And that's a problem because Boeing uses Microsoft toolsets that currently does not support DKIM yet. Right? My question to you is, are you doing these things, or you want to do something different? Are you actually interested in buying a domain and doing this along, or you want to do something?
I already went to 1-1.
You bought it?
Yeah.
Oh, nail it then. So why don't you project and just we'll do along with you instead?
They set up your domain name?
Well, yeah, I'm not really ready to do that because I got some of the thinking of here. I don't know whether I want to go with Google.
Well, there's a free, Google does have a free 30-day business trial. I just think you went to the wrong way.
I went the wrong link, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you don't go through this link, look for a 30-day trial and go through that link. Google for a 30-day trial.
Yeah, it doesn't ask for anything.
I see we have a free trial somewhere. do Google search and Google Labs free trial. That will be. See, the 30-day. It's not available anymore. Do you see it?
Yeah, I got it. I were to instantly get it, and then I'm setting it up now, so I have a 30-day free trial.
So did you do it just now?
I did it just now.
Okay.
Let me send you the link.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Send us the link. Because if you begin with the wrong link that I began with, then you're not getting the option of free trial.
Because it hasn't asked me for one yet, and I'm setting stuff up, so.
So you want to get his email and then get that link.
It used to be give it to everybody every time, but apparently they're not giving it to everybody unless you ask for it.
The other problem is one-on-one is taking forever to set up my domain. How long did it take to set up your domain?
10 minutes. I did it like over the weekend. Yeah, that's what you pay in terms of time wasted. When you're trying to save.
It costs you time to extract.
Right.
Okay, already started.
You got the free one? Free one?
I think so.
Okay, good.
It says set up billing later.
I'm at step 3, so I guess I'll find out.
You should get the choice to set up billing later.
Nice. That's a good choice.
Amazing. Butthead.com is not available.
Which one?
Butthead?
Butthead,
I think Matt Judd. has that one.
who has a,
Matt Judd,
Hmm.
he's the owner of,
yeah, that's a nickname they used to call me on one of the projects we were on. You're such a butthead. Okay, butthead.com. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Oh, there's the Butthead Academy. Oh, they give you alternatives. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think I cannot get the free trial anymore, apparently.
Yeah, you probably can't.
No, I went too far.
You're on the no free list anyway.
I know.
Maybe, yeah, it was you. It was you.
Oh, man. No, I cannot get it. No, sorry. Too bad.
It's been 20, almost 30 minutes, and it's still not setting up.
Okay, I'm at the security verification now. Oops. I do not want to mail, but I have read the agreement. Okay, creating the account. What am I going to do for verification?
So you put a TXT string
Where?
in your name server.
I don't have a name server.
You do with 1 and 1.
Oh, okay.
But the discussion I had to begin with was that you should separate your name server away from 1&1. That's the point I want to highlight. But you don't have to do it. Right now, you can just use 1&1, and you can add your TXT record in 1&1. But in practice, when you're putting that domain to a production use, you want to keep your name servers away from 1&1 somewhere else. Like Amazon Route 53 would be a good example.
Can you point to a subdomain for different name server?
Yes. You have to create those
Create a
entries.
record,
You have to create
one
entries.
new record today. Route for Amazon. Okay.
So I'm at set up Google Apps for work, choose a setup option. Set up a Google.
Why don't you
Advisor.
project?
Alright, so that was one.
Yes, you set up on your own. You're the expert, right?
Yep.
So,
So that was,
yep. So start setup, blue button, and verify your domain with an A record, and get started. You to you. So that's the meta tag value, but you want to choose a different method because you don't have a site ready. You to you.
yeah, this is my wife's yarn business.
I see. Oh, nice. How nice.
Cool, so.
Very nice. You know, yeah, do it right then. Absolutely. So choose a different method and try a TXT record method or a CNAME method. And you have to go to 1&1. It tells you what to do, and so it tells you to go to 1&1, log in, and then you come back to Google and say I logged in. And so here you go to your
So,
in the middle. Yeah, there it is, login button. So here you log on to the domain, which is your domain name followed by password. So it will be the domain name itself as login name and password. So u2u.com and the password you chose. So where did I first hear the word you? It was in a movie called Babe. The pig. That's when I first heard the word you.
so it's EWE.
It's
EWE.
EWE is a sheep.
Sheep.
Oh,
Sheep to you.
That's cute,
Yes, indeed.
yeah.
And so, yeah, this package details, I don't want any suggestions, so just move on. Do not show on startup page. I don't want to see you. And say no. Please, convenient login, maybe not. Not necessary, you can do it later. Go to My Domains, Manage Domains, and that's where you will have to go identify your name server. And that is where you will add a TXT record. And you have to go back to Google and tell them that you found your control panel and all that good stuff. So Google is telling you, did you find your domain name and your control panel in 1&1? They'll guide you step by step. And so here you select on U2U and tell Google you did, basically. So go back to Google, admin console, there. Not this one, the second tab.
There it is.
And say, I have successfully logged in, good. Now go to the name management section, and it may be called admin panel, DNS management, whatever, and I have opened the control panel. So you open the control panel by clicking on the domain itself. Click. And here you want to go and examine your DNS settings. And the domain control panel. This is not it.
Oh, this one, sorry.
Now that is the contact information, that is you.
Oh, wait a minute.
And so I'm looking for DNS
You get
details.
the edit button down on DNS settings. You had it.
Aha, oh there,
Edit.
sweet. And so now you go back and tell Google I did it, I found it. And so here you have to go and text record. So say I opened the control panel, good. Now create an @ text record with this value to verify yourself. And so you copy that
Oh, cool.
and go back to your last tab and paste the value in there and say add. And so now you seem to have added.
Oh, there it is.
Right, so you got added with a TST record, and so say I have created a TST record, and now you have to go back and save it. Apparently, there should be a save button somewhere up or down. There it is.
Yeah.
And so you saved it. Are you sure? And say yes, you're sure. And so now it finally saved.
Sure.
And now I have saved it. And so say go verify, please. So it takes 1 hour to verify. Are you kidding me? Okay, domain is verified. Sweet
That was a
deal.
quick hour.
Yeah.
Go home.
Really? So you can now continue, and the next logical step is to take MX record. So go next on the blue button, and here you will find set up Gmail. So you'll use Gmail as your host for your U2U mails, and so you click on the next blue button at the bottom, and take MX records. And so yes, you are successfully logged in. You know where it is. Move on, and I have opened the control panel. Move on. And delete the old MX records. So you go and delete those old ones because they will have one-and-one email, so you'll delete those. So again, go to edit settings on DNS at the bottom, edit,
There it is.
and you have to find out their MX records and delete all of them. So you have to say other mail server, other.
Right.
And then here you populate with the entries for Google.
Oh, it doesn't know?
No, it doesn't give you helpful hints. And so I have deleted, good. Now you have to type these things in one by one. And remember to get the dot at the end. There is a dot at the end after com.
Got it.
So you get that and put in a priority number 1, paste number 1,
Got the dot. Okay.
and then take the others with a priority 5.
This is all to 1, 2, and 3. So I just gotta copy that once.
Put a priority 5,
Yeah.
and another 5 and 10.
Yeah.
And you don't want a backup. Not from these guys.
Yeah.
And then you save. Something happened. Something happened.
Error.
What just happened?
Why?
Invalid. Oh, you have a space at the beginning. You have space at the beginning. Is that true? No. It doesn't want a dot apparently.
Yeah, GoDaddy is stripped out too.
Interesting. Google says you want to have a dot, and these guys don't agree. They'll say we'll put our own dot. We don't like Google's dot. So I think it's saved.
Yeah, I did.
So now,
Their web app didn't filter out that.
yeah,
They go with dot on the end.
right. And say I have created with these values. So say I have saved the MX records, and now please verify for me, and it will take 1 hour. Email just got awesome.
All right.
Continue setup. And so let us now send you an email. Okay, let me send you. What's your login name? Isn't that fun?
ANN.
ANN at EWE-2-YOU.com, right?
Yep, that's it. I forgot what.
Hello. And so ANN at U2U.com, right?
Yep, that is
Sent. I'm saying a hello message. How are you doing? Sent. Do you have it? So you have to go to your gmail.com and you'll find it, a new tab in gmail.com. You have to log out from Cloud Genius and Just go to this. Actually, you don't have to log out. There was a button there already. So
Oh, was there?
yeah, they go to the third item, third one. Third. Right, this one.
Oh, there it is.
Click.
I didn't even see it.
Very cool.
And all the settings for the SPF and DKM.
Yeah, they'll come as soon as you finish up the mail setup. When you verify, we'll look at how it is being not signed and not identified correctly yet, and then we'll go back and verify those settings.
Right.
And so here my email is already sitting in your inbox. There we go. Now you drop down on the me triangle, like that one. Click, and you will find that the mail is mailed by and signed by me. I'm in my domain, and that's what I don't see when you send me email right now. From this, if you reply, we'll examine how it shows. Just reply and say hi, and we'll now show my machine as to what it shows. And what is missing is what I will highlight. Just say reply
There it is. I was looking for it.
and say hi and send. And so now I will project and show you what I see. And
Do I have to drop?
now I'll
Take it
click.
over.
I'll click. So my email is refreshing, and I have an email from Dennis, actually Anne, and let's examine what do we have. So if you click on this triangle here, there is no mailed by, no signed by. Why? Because we do not have SPF and DKIM yet. So we will now go and create those for your domain. You can take over.
So this is on the Chrome browser.
It went away.
All the way top, and then
No, it's gone.
like this.
Yeah, I know what it looks like. We used it, it's gone. It doesn't know about it anymore for some reason.
My loss.
But,
Wi-Fi Cloud Genius or Wi-Fi somebody else?
no, Cloud Genius. That was bizarre. I got screen sharing, but I don't have
So
AirPlay.
what does it show in screen sharing?
Screen sharing preferences. That's weird. I've never seen AirPlay go away.
So disable Wi-Fi and start it again.
There it is. Oh. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. So here, what we'll do is continue along with the second tab, and here go to your apps. So there is an apps button, bottom left, apps, and Gmail is one of the apps. And inside that Gmail button will be other details about, so go to apps, and then inside there will be a Gmail button. And so Google Apps, there are 7 of them. So inside the 7, we'll have Gmail. And so we click on that and then go to advanced settings at the bottom. There are, let's change the interface a little bit. Yes, this is good. This is right. I think we have to, the spam settings. Let me go and see it properly.
Then I actually got these.
And it's not taken care of.
Yeah.
This is DKIM right here. And this SPF entry. We just have to add SPF differently. They don't give you instructions on how to do it differently so easily. So here, let's do the DKIM part first, which is you have to read this screen super carefully and it will tell you exactly how to do it. And the idea would be there's a button down there to generate a new record. You select a Google prefix, right, and
Where
generate
was
a
that?
string. Sorry.
Where was that at?
So the thing that we were able to find it was at apps, then the number 7, and then go to Gmail, and right on this screen, authenticate email.
Yeah, it wasn't in the advanced settings. Gotcha.
And so when you click on the authenticate email, let's read this for a minute. It says the domains you select will use the DKIM method or protocol for authenticating outbound emails. It will verify whether the sending machine that is sending email is actually your Google machines or not. Because what you can in theory do, and actually in practice do, is set up another box. Imagine this is a box here running some Linux software and install SMTP software on top, like Postfix or SendMail, and then send mail out from that box. And if you do that, it will say DKIM failed. Because that box signature is not in your DKIM footprint. If you send it from Google servers, it will say DKIM pass. Because you are putting a signature to verify that Google boxes are authorized to send email on behalf of you to you.com and not this stupid little box. This box is the Postfix server running in my garage. And if I'm a spammer, what I will do is set up a Postfix box in my garage and pretend that I am you to you owner and spam everybody. And basically destroy Ann's reputation.
Right.
We don't want that. We don't want to destroy our business reputation. We want to keep them high. So we don't want to spam people. And if somebody, some crook is trying to spam, their signature validation will fail, and email receiving companies will automatically crash them.
Right.
Got it. That's the purpose of this DKIM thing, essentially. So I will, once we finish this exercise, I will actually create a box with a postfix and then send you and show you how it fails. That I'll do. I'm ready with that. Let you do the right way, which is you're taking a new record.
So in the case where you need an alternate email send for an application, or like you have devices out in the field that need to send email from your domain.
With another set of signature for that.
Okay.
You can have any number of those, but for every machine that is authorized to send email on your behalf on you2you.com, the owner has to permit, yes, that box can send email on my behalf. In addition to Google, yes, you can send, but not you.
Right. But you do that in the DKIM
Yes.
and the SPF.
SPF both, yes. DKIM is when a validation signed by,
Right.
SPF is validation sent by. Two different validations.
Any additional sent OC data.
Yes. So we'll create a new record. It is currently not authenticating. We generate one. We'll take that long string, which is actually a key. And so go to that, this now, and sign in. Why did it log you out? You already logged in.
It logged me out.
I think it's by design,
Yeah.
because you are doing a sensitive operation.
Oh,
So
right.
it's by design, kick you out, makes you validate yourself again, because this is like signature generation.
Right.
So it will authenticate you, deliberately kick you out and ask you to log in again. And so you go back here again on apps, and number 7, and then DKIM in Gmail down below. So,
Mine is actually still in error.
yeah, authenticate either. One step down, 2 steps down.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
And so now you start authenticating, generate a new record, click, continue, generate, and we are unable to
I'm giving that to you.
Google problem. This is a Google problem. You cannot fix it. It will take some time. Yeah, it will eventually fix itself. But try generating a new record with a different name, not Google. Like call it you or Dennis or something. Try it. It might work. So this is a Google transient problem. You cannot fix it. Oh, it's a Google transient problem. So call it something else. Call it Dennis. And generate a record in that selector. And it failed again. Okay. Try a different browser or give up for now.
Yeah. Anybody else getting any further on
Then you got the same error.
that? Okay.
It is a transient issue with Google servers. You cannot do anything about it, right?
Yeah. Okay. But I know.
Yeah, the concept is Google is giving you a hash. Got it. That hash has to be associated with the DKIM signature that you put in your DNS record, so that Google machines are authorized by Anne to operate on behalf of you2you.com.
And once I've got that, I go back into here.
Read a TXT record.
Right.
So once you go for that, you go to DNS settings.
Yeah, got it.
And then edit, and then you create a new TXT record. TXT. Yep. The name and value is different. The name has to be Google._domain key. That's a specific string, and I'll show you. So in here, you have a name and the text record itself. So the previous text record you set up, the TXT, where was that?
It's
Up there
gone now,
somewhere.
but
There is the verification record you have created somewhere.
it's in here somewhere.
Where did it go?
We didn't delete it, the hell.
No.
We did save them.
I know you did not delete. Name, but it doesn't show the list.
No, it doesn't. Weird. We could dig it, right?
Yeah, you can dig. It was dig u2u.com ns, dig u2u.com and txt. Space txt.
Oh.
And so now your DNS record is gone. It should
Wow.
be visible. It's gone. I don't know how.
Wonder if it. how did
So
that happen? It's weird.
I don't know if it's here.
Yeah.
But let's create one. So go back here, down, and in here you paste your name. So you type your name here and just save. And save. And say yes. Your dig should succeed. Then we should get Dennis here in a few. Dennis. That's the part of Dennis verification. That Google verification string. Dennis verification string is Dennis. And that verification will happen pretty soon. It may take up to 48 hours.
Right.
Who knows?
That's what it said, yeah.
But the next idea is we want to create another setting, and I'll show you how exactly it is so that you don't get lost. I'm going to take over, and let me show you an example string. It will be something like this. So you have a name and a string. In the first example, you had a name, nothing, and you had a string, Dennis. Or you had a name, nothing, and a Google verification, something like that. Right? That disappeared for some reason, I don't know why. Then we created something like this, Dennis record, and that will populate at some point. When DKIM starts to work for your browser and for your setup, Google will generate a string like line number 13 for you.
you have to create a record like this, but instead of at, which is at the root of the domain, you have to use this string.
Okay.
And so in the dig result will be dig watch it carefully. It is not a simple dig command just to the domain, but it is this, not this, this.
Got it.
And then you will find the string, the signature. If you just go this, you will see Dennis. If you just go like this, if you go like this, you will see the string with DKIM signature. This will show you Dennis, this will not. You can have multiple such records, just like that.
Right.
Sorry. And each with a different string associated. Like for example, you have a machine in my garage, or Anne's laptop, or sometimes you want to send emails from MailChimp. You see what I'm saying here? So a variety of examples of machines that are authorized and signed on behalf of you to you.com to send emails out. These four guys are allowed. So that's the way to set up DKIM. SPF is a whole lot simpler. And it is just one line, which looks like this. So let me just open it for you. So this is the string that goes in the TXT file. So it's a TXT string, by the way. So hold on. Let me think carefully and say it, which is a confusing aspect, and I should highlight. We discussed the DKIM record like this. You saw that. It's a TXT record, right? You will notice if you study the protocol, that DNS has a method of describing SPF type records in DNS are available and possible. However, it is being deprecated, not being used. So you will find that even though there is an SPF record type, this is getting deprecated, and you have to actually use the TXT record type for SPF. That's the point I want to highlight. It might confuse
Just like
you.
you said, Google, blah, blah, you put SPF in front of it, no?
Here, create a new record. Drop down SPF. That's what I'm saying. Now this is going away,
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
but that's not what it is. Sorry, but this is what you're saying.
And when you go there, you can't select SPF anymore. You have to create a text record.
Yeah. What you're saying is this.
Right, although I thought there'd be a way for it to say that this is the SPF record.
Yeah, there is, but that is going away.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is there's a prefix to text. And that would be the Google whatever domain key that I get it now, but.
Okay. So yeah, I understand. I understand. So this string is a TXT record. There is no record type called DKIM. There is a record type called SPF that is deprecated. Everybody's using TXT record types now. So for DKIM, you use entries like this, blah, blah, whatever you want, but like this. And for SPF, you put an entry like this. Not this. This is the entry type. And you will not create an SPF. Sorry. Not SPF type.
Okay, so that I'm not confused, show me again, because I'm forgetting briefly, 30 seconds ago, once we got goldfish, but what does a DKIM record look like again?
Okay.
It looks very similar.
Yeah, it is very, very similar, and there is a reason to get confused about, and that's what I want to clarify, is that DKIM record looks like this. Okay, let's begin again. DKIM, you set it as a TXT record. There is no DKIM type record, and you set it like this.
Where is it? Oh, is it the V equals DKI, DT?
Yes.
AIM. Okay, I was looking for the delineation of, because they're both text records, right? So how would it know an SPF versus a
That's right. It's actually an RSS signature.
DKIM either.
It's actually an RSS signature right there.
Okay.
There it
got
is. So
And so with the SPF, is there any marking that it's an SPF? record?
yes, it is. And so here is the SPF.
Ah, there it is. V
And
equals
the mark.
SPF.
The
Okay,
marking goes like this.
got it. All they're doing is just taking out all these subtypes and saying, let's make a text in the first field coming up will tell you what kind of subrecord it is.
Correct. And so here it is, the SPF generic record, where I'm validating and authorizing these 3 machines to be Cloud Genius email servers.
Got it.
So you can send and receive email from Zendesk or Mandrill or Google.
I would think quite often you'd have both your send and receive
So
identical.
receive actually is only one, is Google. That's where I receive from.
Okay.
But I can send from Google.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I can send from others
You're right.
like Zendesk or Mandrill. So I'll illustrate a Mandrill example. The thing I want to illustrate now is something that is interesting probably for you. And I'm pulling it up. Hold on. Yeah, this will be interesting. So let's go somewhere in the example section. I'm going to use the Mandrill engine to send an email. And I'm going to create a folder. Let's call it signing. And in there, I'm dropping some files, and I'll open them and show it to you. Just a minute. So I'm opening these files in the Silver Lining folder, and there is an email draft that I have written. I'm going to say hello, and in this file, I'm going to say email is silverlining@CloudGenius, and the first name is Silver, and the second name is Linings. See what I'm doing? Do you? I'm creating a CSV file, comma separated values with email, first name, and last name. Right? That's my file that contains this. So I'm going to maybe rename it and call it Silver. And then delete these files, this file, and also can go away. Yeah. So don't save. Template. And so here, hello. That's my email I want to send. That's it, right? So this is my body of email. The recipients are these guys, only one. And this is my send command. So in the send command, what I will do is put in a subject line, how are you, and save. And in the CSV file name, I will use the name Silver. And in the sender, I'll put my name. And in fact, to illustrate a point, I'll actually use Anne at you to you. Okay. Just to illustrate a point,
Right.
right? Let's see what happens. It will fail because I'm preventing it from happening. So I'm going to go to that folder I created. And in that folder, I have a send file, a silver.csv file, which has just one email address, and a template, which has the message. And I'm going to send. I'm literally sending by typing the word send through a command called Postman, and it's sent. Check our email, see what happens. Let's go check our emails. And apparently we have an email. Do we? Refresh. Forums. Yeah, there it is. See, I was able to pretend like Anne and you to you and all that. And the email came from nilesh@you2you.com with the name Anne in there. And it's all hacked up.
Hey, you didn't put in your credit card number. Please reply back.
Now, I was able to send an email from your domain. You see
Oh,
that,
yeah, I know.
right?
I get
You
that.
see how to hack it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Now, what am I doing here is actually using a third-party mail server and using them to send email pretending to be you to you.
Right. If you reply back, where does it go?
You
Oh, I'd have to, yeah, I gotta reply back.
it will go to the you to you domain webmaster, and if you are catching all the emails, even if they're not sent to Anne, then you will receive it. Because it depends on your domain rules. If you are only receiving emails addressed to anne@you2you.com, then you will receive only those emails.
Oh, right, yeah.
But this will go to nilesh@you2you.com.
Really exists.
And so if you have filtering rules in place, this will get dropped.
Right.
If you're allowing catch all, then this will arrive in your inbox.
Got it.
Now you will also notice a couple of things here: mailed by and signed by. They are done by Cloud Genius because I have my signature embedded. So at least,
And that's where if I had the rules set up.
yeah. If you have rules of rejection, you can prevent these emails from going out.
Right.
If you enforce your policy to be strict, then these emails can be dropped. But this is how hackers hack. This is how spammers can actually spam you. And I just spammed all of us,
Right.
saying hello.
Yeah, nice. Good illustration.
So the idea would be to make your policy strict so that other people cannot use your domain to spam you and bring your business reputation down. And these tools are helpful in doing that exact exercise, which is to make it strict.
Does the SPF record prevent that, or?
Both in combination, and in combination with some ISPs have to cooperate.
Okay.
So it's an evolving field. Right? ISPs sometimes
No,
do not
they
honor
actually
these
have
things.
to-
Right.
They have to do something about it.
Right,
Just because the record's there doesn't mean they do
Right.
anything.
They have to enforce it.
So,
So it's an evolving field, and that's why Microsoft hasn't fully supported it yet. So things are evolving, but eventually you will find that these tools will be helpful in cutting down spam to zero when everybody will enforce the same thing. Huh?
Or near zero?
Or near zero, maybe. There are people like me who will find a way to interject and send an email pretending to be Anne. And in fact, to go to the extent, I can actually say, instead of this Nilesh, I can make it Anne.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want in the
yeah,
send
it was
file.
a file.
It's the file, whatever I write. And so that's a way to bulk email. This is a bulk email tool, but it's properly configured through an open source project called Postman. And here it is. And so this is the project I'm using, and it gives you a command line utility and bunch of things to do. Like here is an example. You can templatize emails, like make it beautiful looking and all that. HTML emails, colors, embedded pictures, fonts, everything. And you collect your list of your subscribers. You put a nice subject line, you put a date, time, whatever you want to construct, and run the postman command.
Yeah.
And boom, it goes. So this is how applications email. When machines are emailing machines.
Elm is what we used to use.
Yeah, Elm is another solution. So when you sign on to, say, a new service, let's say this, and here you, what am I doing? So here you say a new service, I want to sign up, create a new account. So these websites will sometimes say, you know what, okay, validate your email address. They'll send you an automated email. And those emails are sent by machines. And they're using methods like this on the backside.
Yeah, we used to do.
Yep.
We still do some of that.
Yeah, every application developer will use some of these tools to make it happen. Otherwise, how will you reach out to your customers, validate their emails?
Right. We used to use it for emailing alerts.
Yeah.
Things.
Right. So this is a command line method of illustrating the same point. But that's what we just discussed about. Where was that? Not this.
So your sender list, I would imagine that could be input from a file also.
Yeah, you can manually type, or there are more sophisticated ways of dealing with it, which is called, hold on. This is what I use. So I have a software I use called MailChimp. You heard of it?
Yeah, the names are great.
Yeah, it's a monkey that sends mail. And so
That was obvious, yeah.
and so the monkey, let's see. Where do I show it to you in exact fashion? So go to this site and say get certified. So let's go to this site, and you will read about the certification program and all that, and you get excited about it, and then you want to sign up. And so when you want to sign up to learn. Signing up is free, and so you put your name and email and other things here, right? When you fill that out, what happens is it actually uses MailChimp on the back end. And so I'll demonstrate a point. Let's see. We'll put in your name, Matt, and what email address would you like to become a subscriber for today? What are you logged on to right now? So what's the current email address you logged on to?
The Google, Genius.
I see. So I think your email address is not Matt,
Embrel.
but yeah, that's what I forget. So
MBURRELL.
So here, a person will come and subscribe like this and say, click to subscribe, and says, thank you for your interest in Cloud Genius.
Okay.
That's what the site said. But what's happening to you in your inbox? There is a monkey in your inbox now asking you to subscribe.
Oh, come on. I'm keyboard challenged.
You have Microsoft challenge, apparently.
So mail. Come on. There we go.
So you should have received an email. Sorry.
What is Ann doing? Sending me email.
Oh, did you also receive an? Of course, everybody did. So all of us did, right? Silver lining.
Cloud Genius, there it is.
So if you subscribe to the button saying, yes, I agree, please subscribe, what happens is MailChimp will put you on a list
Okay,
for me.
I'm I'm gonna subscribe.
And tell me that you just subscribed.
I did.
And so it should tell me by now that, hey, you have a new subscriber. There we go. See that? It says new subscriber to Cloud Genius. Yippee, monkey says. It's, that's how it works,
Yeah,
right? You just gained a new subscriber,
yeah,
and your detail and your IP address and what time you came on and everything is now available to me. And so I can, whenever I send emails, since you have subscribed,
yeah.
my emails will go to your email address. And that's the method of this monkey, which is MailChimp. And that's a service. It's a software as a service for sending emails. That's what most companies, you'll use something like this to build their email list. Everybody does that. All big names, small companies, everybody. There are other names known as Constant.
How much does that cost you?
I think it is $9. Yeah. So Constant Contact is another one.
Very good.
Send beautiful emails, get results.
Okay.
So what these things are essentially on the back end are SMTP services. They let you send emails to your clients, to your customers, based on a subscription opt-in list. And the list actually sits with them. So they are the software as a service providers for us. Do you use something like this already, or? Yeah, you should embed on your site. You should put in a simple tool, something like, are you WordPress currently?
Yeah.
So there is a WordPress MailChimp plugin. Add that, get a MailChimp account. MailChimp to start with is free. Begin that at up, I think about 500 users, it is free. So 500 subscribers. So you can get that, put in a plugin, get an API key from MailChimp, put in your site, and let people sign on to hear from you. Don't spam them.
Right.
And they want to eventually hear from you, and people will build up. So I have a huge list now in the last few years. So people want to listen to what you're saying, and they
Right.
subscribe. So as long as you don't spam them, people are generally okay in hearing, if you're interesting, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good way to build your business list over time.
Right.
So include a plugin for WordPress through MailChimp, add MailChimp free account, give it a shot.
Very cool.
So closing out on SPF, the entries you want are not these, but just these lines, all the way from 7 through 11. That's what you want. If you're just using Google only. If you're using other services, you want to add them line by line. What other services you want to use, you will add them. If you don't use them, then you don't have to, and you can just get rid of them. So that's the line. It is common to everybody. If you're using Google, that's the line goes, and that's we have to put as a TXT record in your name server. This line, number 7. And I'm going to email it to you so you have a record handy.
So if I say include colon
Yeah.
and then the name of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
SMTP tier.
Yeah.
Why is the Google one an underscore?
It chose to define this as the name. So that's the name they chose. So I cannot help it. You can choose whatever you want, literally.
Right.
You want to create a TXT record with these entries to make sure that your SPF is taken care of. And here comes an email from me.
Anybody get the DKIM for?
I got SPF in, but DKIM, I still can't get it.
Yeah, sometimes Google behaves crazy.
it's like.
Yeah, what do you get? What do you expect to get for $1?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
let's put it
expecting a
that
lot.
way. You're expecting a lot. You expect them to respond so quickly, and pay only $1. What do you want? Like,
Running on some guy's computer in a garage.
exactly. That's probably it.
So that's probably running it off a virtual server.
It's reselling from somebody else.
Who knows?
Reselling from somebody else.
Who knows?
I had one of those recently where they resell from someplace in Australia. And so if you want to transfer your domain out, they can't do it for you. You have to actually email the company that they buy from in Australia. There's no phone number, you just have to email and wait for them to get back to you to transfer your domain away.
Microsoft did that a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Australian company, and they were giving domains away for free for people who were migrating to Outlook.com with your custom domain.
Right.
Prior to that, we had live sites, Microsoft live sites, Office live sites, Windows live sites, and they were giving domain away.
Mhm.
And so they basically give away, as long as you're sticking with Microsoft, you have the domain.
Right.
And then when you don't want to have the Microsoft properties, you want to have your own, then you want to transition domain name away, and you have to contact somebody in Australia, and there's no phone number and no nothing. It took me a month to transition the name, but the name was nice, so I just made sure that I get it. So you put an entry like this in SPF, your SPF should work. You can validate that through your button here, should say mailed by, and that should do it. So that was SPF records. Very, very similar to that is what you would do in case you chose the Office 365 suite of applications. They're conceptually very similar, except some additional services that they provide, which is Lync, which requires some special configuration. Let's look at those also. Where is that? This is the easiest way to find. Easiest way to find things in Microsoft is actually Google.
Yeah, it's like they still don't support DKIM yet. It's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
This year.
And so here is the authoritative document that describes in great detail how it should be done. In the classic Microsoft style that nobody would understand. What do I do now?
Very complicated contract for you.
Why? Why? So I have it in one of the previous classrooms. I have a solution. I'm going to find and just show it to you.
You know, on the Office 365 site, they actually have a really good step-by-step guide
Huh?
for it. Do you know the link to that? I just
No.
it off from the top of my head.
For SPF.
Yeah, it gives you all the data settings. I don't set up on Office 365.
Yeah, when you're in the portal, when you're logged into the admin portal,
Oh, yes.
yeah, they'll have everything. It's pretty easy to find it in there.
Is it this? I think this should be it. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, that's the page. So let's review that. So in Office 365, it's conceptually very similar. You have to have, first of all, authenticate and verify that you are the domain owner. When you do, you have to put your MX records, pretty much similar to what you did for Google. In this case, it will be for Microsoft. It will go to Outlook.com as the target mail server. You set up an SPF record similar to what you just did for Google. And there are some niceties that Microsoft provides, which is to auto-discover.outlook.com. You create a CNAME like that. And what this does is helps your phones, your tablets, your laptops automatically discover that you are indeed hosted on Office 365. So having a CNAME like this, an entry like this, pointing to your domain, helps you discover, helps your phones, Android tablets, iPads discover that you are indeed hosted on Office 365. So those auto discover entries, like one example here and one more on top. Where is that? Yeah, here, Outlook, auto discover Outlook. And the same one again. Why that doing twice? So this auto discover alias helps you identify where you're hosted, makes it easy for devices to discover and configure automatically. Then we have the link records, which are, you have to have this particular SIP Federation TLS and this target and that port with that weight and that priority defined. Now I will show you an example of how exactly this is implemented by opening up one of my domains that is hosted on Office 365 already. So I'm going to go there. And where is it mounted? I think the domain is on Namecheap. Yes, should be here. That I'm opening up. It is mounted on Office 365 already, and we'll examine its entries. And so the DR coming up. And here they are. First entry is an A record going to the machine where it is hosted, and you will remember where it is hosted. It is actually an S3 bucket in CloudFront, if you recall that. Oh, there's a dot at the end. You remember this one? So that's the domain that is actually hosted on Office 365. But the site is sitting in a bucket in S3. And you will see here, there is a subdomain called AutoDiscover, which is pointing to autodiscover.outlook.com as a CNAME alias. Next, we have an entry called blog as a subdomain, pointing to CloudFront endpoint, which is in turn pointing to an S3 bucket. We have link discover subdomain pointing to link.com. And all of this will change because Microsoft has decided to rename Link as Skype for Business.
What?
Yeah, they missed out the version year 2016 professional edition. That part is missing. So Skype for Business 2017 professional edition.
Did they buy Skype?
Yeah, a long time ago. But finally decided to rename it, rename Link as Skype for Business,
Yeah.
as opposed to Skype that works.
More people know what Skype is than Link.
Right.
Nobody knows what Link is.
Exactly.
Unless you work in some big business happens to use it.
Yeah, like, oh,
Right, exactly. So this auto discover tool will help your Link client identify which your Link server is. Where is it? And then there are these SRV records at the bottom somewhere. Where are those? Here. They are kind of cryptic. So you see the service definition. The SIP is the service that Link uses to transport audio and video transport of your speech and your video streams over SIP protocol. The protocol layer is actually TLS for IP transport layer security. Priority is 100, weight is 1, port is 443, and the target is this. And one more SRV record called SIP Federation TLS. So it will be SI underscore SIP Federation TLS and the TCP protocol, 100 priority, 1 wait, 5061 port, and sipfedonline link.com with a dot at the end. And these are the settings needed for link to work with your domain. And this is just an example that I have set for Office 365 to work with the domain that I have. I use that domain primarily to show in the class. There's no other use that I have for the domain. I don't use it much, except more for free. Get Office for iPad, now on Android also. Nice. So Android, that was so needed, but now it's there. Okay. Finally. We reviewed two big Office applications available to us as a service from these two guys. There are a variety of other software as a service available. Like, it's an endless list of things. A simple one that you want to try very quickly is WordPress.com. Have you used it already? The idea behind this service is this software called WordPress.org. That software that you can download from here this software that you download from this location is available for you to use as a service at this location. So it becomes a blog for you, ready-made, and you don't have to do anything. It is free, and it uses this software. It is created by Matt. Not this Matt, but this Matt.
Other Matt, there you go.
His website is even cooler than just matt.com.
There's another one too, bu.tt.
Unlucky in cars.
Is that?
Okay.
Yeah, it just says, when you go to it, it just says but they use the same trick, just bu.tt.
Yeah, there you go.
I was playing around trying to find some interesting ones like my last name .tt, right? Or stuff like that. A lot of people have started grabbing those things.
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty cool. Though.
Yep. So
That's pretty sweet.
ma.tt. So he is the creator of WordPress. So he created this software to install this service, and he gives that service for free. Similar to this guy, there is another guy called the creator of Drupal. Did I say that before? Did I discuss this with you before? Drupal?
I don't remember that one. I remember WordPress. I don't remember this one.
Okay, so this is another very popular, extremely popular, I would say, almost as popular as WordPress. And you know, our whitehouse.gov site is a Drupal site. I think I told you this, didn't I?
On this one, you
Yeah.
did, yeah.
So whitehouse.gov is, why is it so slow?
If whitehouse.com does not use Drupal, I don't think.
You want me to check? Do you really want me to check? So this software, yeah, Drupal is the software created by Dries, this guy. So he created Drupal, this software that is used by this company or this organization. It's trivially simple to deploy, just like WordPress is. These things are made in a language called PHP, and you need LAMP. install these things.
Yeah.
And on the LAMP platform, you can install WordPress, or you can install Drupal, or you can install actually Facebook. Originally was a PHP application, long time ago, not anymore. And similar to that, Twitter was a Rails application. That was also a long time back. Now it is not true anymore. But they started with this. And so they have evolved into extended, elaborate software as a service solutions. And the idea behind be looking at these, they're extremely trivial, simple to use. You just go there, log in, and start using it. As simple as that. For example, here, Nilesh, WordPress.com. It is as trivial as going there and saying, click and add a new blog post, and you just post. So it's slow, rotating, but you basically go click a button and then you type in a line and a body and you post. That's how it blogs. So very, very simple. Nothing much to do. I mean, the whole groundwork has already been developed, which is Matt in this case. So here is Bebop coming up. Okay, there's a title and a body. Come on. Okay, and there goes my body, and it publishes to my blog, and I'm done. That's my blog post published, and I can view the post. As simple as that. There's not much effort needed to use the software, and it is meant for people, not developers, but people. So I have the blog post entry already. To trivialize this to the extent that anybody and everybody can just quickly create a blog is what this service does. Now that was a bad post, so I'm going to delete that post by
And that's
trashing it.
WordPress. You can
Yes.
do that.
Yes. And very, very similar is Drupal as a service also, by the way. Drupal also provides a service. And so just like you have this guy called ma.tt, this guy created WordPress.org software and deployed WordPress.com as a service. The other guy, his name is Dries. He created Drupal software and deployed that as Drupal Gardens. We'll go there and we'll see similar structure there. Very, very similar. So Drupal Gardens. And what's the promise? The promise is to create beautiful sites. Websites without boundaries. Oh, that's a new promise, apparently. I thought it was 15 minutes. Actually, it is still designed to online in 15 minutes. Still the same promise.
What's the price these days?
I think it is free.
Oh, free.
Free. Drupal Gardens. But the free part is tricky. It is freemium. Yeah, it is always free. So when something is free, you are the product. Right? They're selling you. I mean, you are being sold, I should say. You are the product. You are being sold.
OpenMap will be the next PewDiePie.
And so the thing that this is free is that there is a reason why to give it for free, because they will put some restrictions on anything you add on to. Like you want to put some videos on the site, they'll charge you. You want to use your custom domain, they'll charge you.
Right.
So if anything you go deviate from just the basic stuff, they'll charge you, which is good.
Amazon,
Totally good.
AWS, use any features, they'll cost you.
Right. True.
You know,
I think that's a valid business model, and even so much so that in my new
The basic for free and off you go.
yes in my new site,
People only need the basic.
Okay, then you're also
new site, I will be offering a free course. I'm not kidding. Now here it is. This is the new, I'm building it out right now.
Yeah.
So here you can buy these courses and buy the combination course,
Cool.
or select an option with a cheaper price to begin with. But then if you want to actually talk to me, then it is the same price. So I'm experimenting with these things at the back end. And
So free courses, when everybody comes in, you just don't say anything?
no, you have a play. You have these things like going on online, right? I'm a virtual Nilesh will talk to you, but not a Nilesh.
Yeah, everybody comes in and just looks at you. Well, I don't trust you. If he talks, he'll talk to you.
You want some words with that?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a. I think that freemium model has a valid model, and it seems to work. The reason it works is that you are showing something what it is, and people perceive value, and when they find it is actually useful, they'll use it. And then most people like, if you like something, you might pay for it, and that's how it goes. And that's a established model in the industry, and I'm trying to copy that model. I don't have a free product yet. So if I want to take this online and provide it to a worldwide audience, I need to have a free product. I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
So how will people know what it is?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I'm building. So that was Drupal Gardens. And like these, there's one more called Joomla. Same story. Joomla is a software, open source.
Yeah.
And I can go on and
How
on.
much time do you spend finding the thousands of different sites?
I don't know. That's what I do. I mean, this is my job.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, this is really informative. It's good stuff.
Amazing. There's so
Yeah.
it's really, it is amazing. There's so many of these things out there.
Yeah. And
How
all
do
of
they get
them, I strictly focus on open source. I'll never bring any commercial ideas unless I have to, like this,
Yeah.
Google Apps or
I
Office
mean, that's part of the
365.
value of this, is you're opening up our eyes to all of this stuff that is available.
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
there out there, and it's probably better than commercial,
Yeah,
better
I think
than
I
most
mentioned
commercial
before,
software.
I'm not disparaging any company, but I don't see how a company like GoDaddy, for instance, continues on with the pricing and everything that they have and the limited service.
yeah.
You heard of the word called Danica? That's how it works.
I know, that'll only go so far, right?
GoDaddy's got a new CEO.
Right, they're changing apparently. So Danica is not there in this commercial, in this football game this time. She was not.
The new
Yeah.
CEO is a woman.
Right.
That
But
guy
also
that
they're
you see-
doing,
you see
I
in
mean,
commercials,
advertising.
He's gone.
Advertising is their only way, I mean, right now, I mean, but eventually people are gonna, people who really know are gonna catch on, right?
When I left Microsoft in 2006, they were making $800 million a year off of MSN dial.
Huh.
Wow.
Dial-up internet.
2006.
Yeah.
People just never either didn't cancel their account or they just lost
Wow.
the account that
Amazing.
much that there was that much money, and we kept trying to say, "Are we going to turn this on?"
Not while it's making money, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Keep it going.
yeah, why not?
And the idea behind is that people get almost married to the email address,
Yes.
right? And that is something that you should not. I mean, there are other things to do in life. So getting tied to a Comcast email address is just,
Me.
see,
I
would rather you-
transitioning to Gmail.
I would rather use, don't even go to Gmail. I go to you.com. That's
Oh,
your
get your
domain. I mean, you own it. And tomorrow if Google goes away, you don't care.
Right.
It is you that you should work
And
for.
then you just transition
Yeah,
your records
yeah.
to the next.
You,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You to you is you,
Right.
nobody else. That is
Exactly.
you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you should think.
that's a good idea.
So never Gmail, even though you think Gmail is good, but it is not you.
No, I mean, you're right, it's just barely better than Comcast, really.
Of course, it should be absolutely you. I mean, I would ideally get your last name
Yeah.
if you can, as .com.
Go in there now.
Yeah, too late.
Murder cuss.
So I got my domain long time ago, like really long time ago, but I have it.
Oh, yeah,
But it all goes to here. The domain for me it was easy because there are not many people with that last name.
Well, mine is not real common either. There might be a chance that I might find it under, well, no.
That's dangerous.
No,
No.
You never know about it.
I know. I just give it a shot. Oh, they're selling you Hus.com email addresses.
Yeah, but how they did it, they did the phone book. You got them all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can get your email address if you like, but
It'll cost you.
yeah, you don't want this. So yeah, you do you. Stick with it.
Yeah.
Or maybe find some other better name if you like something else. But make it yours.
Yeah.
It should be your fingerprint, not somebody else's. That's the key. That is the key. Everything else is transient. It will go away at some point. Like who knows
Right.
how other it's not.
Yahoo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
AOL.
I would do all the variations of sheep stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's sheepstuff.com.
yarn, you
I just like sheep stuff.
yeah. Oh, brother. Hey, before my battery goes out, wanted to have a look at a Heroku
Yes.
update. I'm down to the very end.
It's a sign of getting old.
No,
Down.
never admit it, never admit it. So this is right at the end, and it's got an update available, so it dies here. Here's where it dies, and I do the open, and then it's got the update. I tried doing the update a bunch, and 6 not upgraded. So there's an update in there. So I did a sudo command to do the app update.
But I think it's not about the update is available, but the failure is not about that.
So is it,
The failure is not because of the.
oh, I
update.
agree,
Failure is something else.
Yeah, it's just the sysbase size.
Critical, G-slice set config instruction is failed to 0.
Right.
One way to solve this is to actually study the logs on Heroku. There's a way in this write-up, how do you connect and see the logs?
Okay,
And so let's do that way.
Heroku logs.
Let's just get out the way. It's on, just say, Heroku logs. There's a console method also. On the, right?
Yeah, and I think it's exactly that. I think it's a Heroku console.
Let's first check the logs and see what they say. The logs, let's print out all the logs that Heroku has. So these are the logs. I will read them and also understand what the issue here is, and then refresh this site one more time and then check the logs again. So we will effectively do this. It's crashing. The application is crashing, it says. Change from starting to crash.
I mistyped one of the,
Thomas, hold on.
I could have, I was gonna go into here to see if I,
Okay,
mistyped something.
that sounds like here is the error.
Well, let's see if I did do that. Oh, there's an ampersand on that. That's an
Exclamation.
for an explanation. You know what?
Here you must have put semicolon.
Well, let's check.
That's what it sounds like it. and it's pointing to that location, we find active record colon base. We have a semicolon here as opposed to colon. That's what
Is that what it
that's
says?
what the log says.
Oh, yeah, it does, I can see it. It's a semicolon colon.
And there's a little triangle thing there. See that?
Well,
Little triangle thing.
you know what? Microscopic screen, it wouldn't surprise me.
So let's go read that. What kind of this? Unicorn Army?
Yeah,
VI config / unicorn. And let's edit that one. And here we have.
see, that's part of the problem.
Yes, you have the problem right here. Okay. See, these are semicolons here.
There, oh, I see it. Okay,
So it's here.
yep, that one. You see any of the others?
No, this is okay.
Yeah,
This is okay. This
Okay,
one is okay.
Okay.
This one is the problem. So I'm going to fix those.
are you in by?
I think in that, I'm going to fix those.
Okay. Go for it. Well, I was going to the right place. Wanted to take a peek at it first, though. Okay. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna do,
Git status
oh,
modifier.
yeah. I'm tracking with you.
Git add.
Add, yeah, the whole damn thing, then add. And then fixed, yeah, whatever. Okay, that's what that says. It says fixed semicolon. Okay. Now we're gonna push, up, slightly like that. Master. Okay. And then, since we're pushing it, we should be able to do the open again.
It's just refresh this side. That's all it runs.
Yeah, we can, right, yeah,
So open is basically refreshing this. So just refresh this way and that will fix it. Once this process finishes,
yeah.
the error will be gone.
Okay.
Because it will not be crashing.
So,
Control
what's that?
R. Control R.
On this? I can. So I'm all the way up. Oh, right there. That's what it's gonna do.
Still another error. We check the log again.
Yeah, see, I thought there was another
Because the log will tell
semicolon
you,
error,
log will tell you what the error is.
no method error. Okay.
Oh,
it's-
define method integer, integer type you can say somewhere.
Integer, huh? I must have misspelled integer.
Unicorn line number 1. Integer, this word.
Right here. Did I put a cap?
Let's find out.
I misspelled it. I bet you. Well, that's what you put. I was wondering about that. So I typed it exactly the way you had it.
This was lowercase here.
So I have lowercase?
Now you need uppercase.
Okay, good. So I won't fix this. Okay, save it. I hate this keyboard. But you've heard me say that already.
Yeah, it is.
And then my eyeballs just aren't good enough to see some of the stuff.
We have a git update again.
Okay. Yep, commit. There. Yeah. And then we do push. I love this stuff. I tell you.
So, did you get a chance to buy a book that I suggested that you read? The
Not
book
yet.
was called The Goal.
Not
You
yet.
remember, because next time we'll start talking about operations and DevOps and Chef. It'll be even more fun.
Well, so that's something that we want to
Yeah, it
read as we go through DevOps?
Yeah, it'd be nice to know the background because it can be about, it's a classical concept.
Uh-huh.
The concept is about the goal of the business. Right? It's a textbook, so I expect you to read it. If you don't want to read it, I can understand. But I think it's a good idea to read it.
If I buy it, I'll read it.
It's available in the library. The name is The Goal. So in the library, public library, there's an app called Overdrive.
That worked. All right, very
Yeah.
good, thank you.
So there's an app called Overdrive app. It is in your app store for Android and Windows and everybody.
Okay, so before you go,
Yes, I'm not going.
so I still got the sys page size equals 0 failed with the update. It says there, one of the things that,
I don't think it's an error. This will not work.
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's still messages here and there's an update. And I want to know how to grab the update. What I did before was which one are you going to? 212 is what update available. Tool bill. And we took the plugins out. We uninstalled those. Now, do you do the same thing in that little script of updates that you gave us? And I thought it was going to be a couple of lines in there.
Not for ToolBit.
Yeah.
Did I say the date was for ToolBit or virtual machine?
It was everything in Trusty. It was, I thought you did everything. The web browser, the whole bit. I mean, it was a pretty complete set. Laptop battery low. Let's hope it makes it.
You get support in the future.
What's that?
You know, get support in the future. Google Apps.
Oh, no.
Not even email.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you get the error again?
Yeah.
One more time.
How do you,
That's
how do you
you.
find the error?
Yeah. Well, you click on find part.
Are you registered? I know Microsoft does the
Yeah.
same thing with O365.
So now with
Yeah,
update
registered
3.6.1
I'm
Yeah, yeah.
registered as Microsoft partner.
and
Google Apps.
how do
A
we
long time ago.
discover the error? How to find
You
the
have
error?
to sell a
We
certain
do the
numbers
open, or we do
before you
the,
become a verified.
Heroku, we just run it.
Oh.
And,
Register.
what was it? Heroku open?
So,
So, but all the customers you currently Go to either one of the two.
and it'll
register
pop up,
on
the area, and so it got rid of the
So
update,
they credit
and
to
we
you.
still have the
I have done a lot of Google apps. You did really small, like
It's-
1 or 2%.
Yeah.
No, that's fine,
What
I
is
mean,
wrong?
Yeah, a lot of that's the apps.
yeah,
The apps will be, oh, we can get away from, like,
so the good news is you're showing me how to
or
to
our email
debug,
through Code.
you know, on the Heroku site, I like that you did that
Google.
on the
And
website.
then, yeah, so that tends
Yes, I
to
don't
be
see
like,
the error.
so that's just initial.
And,
Do you get any asks for Amazon?
Starting, oh, yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
I heard, one request
Oh,
from
completed.
like, an animal nonprofit.
Is that a warning?
Like an animal shelter.
The message we had, well,
They had their website, so.
I thought it was critical.
Yeah, it's on
there's
other
this time
websites.
here, which is this time.
They had migrated from
This time.
SDS 2003
Another browser.
Office 365, so you need someone to take over
And
and
then starting using
they're all around.
all one.
I mean, most of the stuff can be done remotely, but like, you know, nonprofits, because they're like,
Go back here. So it's in logs,
so,
shows the logs.
I mean,
You will see the
these
logs
like
like this
this work.
Yeah.
right now, and the new set of logs will be slightly longer.
That's your,
We
that's your
have
best.
all these set on one.
Yeah, if you're actually really support the nonprofit, then it makes sense. But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, they're nonprofit,
Okay.
they'll pay, but
So the error that you see is.
usually it's really
better
better.
confidence in
One that I
this.
don't know where it's coming from. So
You know,
this
your
is
circle of, these are the causes that I'm.
It works. The
Right.
other thing is, it seems to be working, but they're just printing this line. I don't know why they're printing this line. What's the connection?
Yeah, process 5920.
That's what I mean. If you want me to diagnose
No,
I will do it.
No, I think we're fine.
One way to work around this is to see your Blooming Sierra 9798. Blooming Sierra. And then create a
We
new
don't
map.
want to do it.
And this will help us understand where the error is coming from.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go onto my other server, and I'm
Does
gonna
that
go
go
through,
through
I'm gonna do exactly, no, I haven't done it yet.
Hours.
See, so, because I hadn't talked about the EMB, so now I'm gonna do the exercise again. You go through it, and it's got a big screen, big keyboard, and I won't make the forward.
Easiest way is
So
avoid
you know what?
typing process.
Right.
You said it's not like
$10,000 block.
Oh, that's true, yeah,
Copy and paste.
yeah. Well, no, I understand.
But yeah, it is important to actually type also. I'm not saying it is not, but I'm saying if you want to avoid typing.
Well, see, the reason why I type it is, I get the logic in my head, what you're trying to do. Yeah.
It was actually,
So
it was actually
it's
pretty
my
big. He had a
type,
lot
I
of
keep it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just constant.
Doing it, unless you make an error, you will never find out.
Well, you never see the debugging was fun. I got a right to do that, and I wanted to do that too. I knew it was in here, was probably there, but watching you do it was good. So
Read that.
it was worth it. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you.
Sure, where is Mike?
I think he probably knowing what's going on tomorrow, he took the day off.
Hardware bar.
They're
Well,
gonna
the-
announce, remember we said they're gonna have some labs, they're gonna announce the labs.
That basically does whatever it has to.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, but
It's,
And so what happens, a lot of people, oh, yeah.
I honestly think that these companies that we work on are transient.
Just keep
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
That's how I always operate.
It's, oh, yeah, but it's what you like.
You know, my wife,
Just whatever.
we were we're just taking a trip to Alaska.
Couple of
And,
first spot.
and,
So you know.
when they were announcing the layoffs, I said, well, I don't wanna go. And my wife got pissed at me. And she said, are you going to, and
No.
one of my good friends was our previous director,
Is
Sarah
that
Ray.
here?
They both said, and, are you going to let the company decide how you're going to live your life?
They're on 100
And I
people.
thought,
That's a valid premise.
it's hard to argue that.
Totally valid.
Yeah.
It is, look, I keep things very simple and clear for my way of thinking. Is, you know, I go to work because I think that is my customer.
Interesting.
Even though I'm an
We
employee,
had a customer who
I think
called.
of them as my
They
customer.
said,
I'm
okay,
giving them
we'll
something of value, they're paying me money in
We'll
cash.
set up every, on your
So I
website,
my service.
set up all your
Yeah.
rules,
Your site is no longer
just.
valuable.
That's right, and it has a start and it has a finish.
People
I
get
have
up
a
to sign
product
up.
to deliver, service to deliver, I deliver my service, I get compensated. And, so there is this old style way of thinking that I work for a company, that I dedicate myself, and I dedicate my family time there also. Right.
Oh,
It's not long-term
They
sustainable.
called us.
I think also I want to dedicate oneself to just one organization at the expense of your family.
Yeah.
Like you cannot go to
This is.
Alaska or.
What again?
Done it.
Let me talk again.
It's,
For,
Yeah, that's the point.
yeah.
Why can't you go?
Well, it's about saving, see, you're 100%. So when Anna and Sarah told me that, I said, you know what? There's always going to be something that's an excuse for not doing something else.
But you know, the guys.
So you know
there,
what we did? The other thing I started to do,
we came up.
under your class.
So again and again with something.
And we talked tennis and we go on.
Right, on that aging, I'm not. Just.
Right.
Yeah, so they're right. Yeah, so once you get your foot in the door, like, oh,
I have a bit, even when I was at Microsoft.
you sort of study it is. So we're trying to
I was
convert these things to religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you solve the losses.
Yeah.
Just didn't have the time to do
And so I
it.
never made any money on the options that I had.
It's all you
Stop.
can, this music.
You can't go on.
Right.
Yeah.
It just kept-
There was
kept rolling.
this feeling that I have in my mind that this company will eventually disappear.
Right.
I stayed there for a
That's something
simple logical reason, which you don't have to worry about.
Just-
I
So
have,
have you been
and
consulted?
the reason is,
I started doing it.
Live long and prosper.
I am an alien.
Yeah.
Right, you needed the
I
do some work on the side,
Yeah.
do a contract.
I did not,
Yeah.
for 8 years.
Yeah.
And so that was the reason that I came here.
Yep, yeah, that's a good reason.
It's a very good logical reason.
It's a very good contract.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would keep on doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is my home, and this is my reservation and all that. Right, right, you did reservation. Yeah.
You have a good
And
outlook
it's,
on just life in general.
baking some
And
finances.
it's great, I did it for myself, yeah,
Oh, really?
just 17
A lot
years
of,
ago.
there are a lot of small
$500 in
businesses
cash.
started
You know,
out
I can
being
my
running
used to live in a home
growth phase, right?
this small in
There-
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
They have some funding from one
Yeah.
to another, or are,
One of the original
or
mills.
dependent
Yes.
on.
And paid $100,000 for 2 years of tuition.
Oh,
We get it.
yeah.
Right. Well,
Right?
no,
They
they,
didn't have a car.
I've started to know about the patents for
I was going in first year MBA. My wife used to say,
Oh, really?
They don't want to see it. but-
Uphill both ways.
We had one guy who.
How did you know that? I didn't. My dad used to say, yeah.
We have $100 million. Yeah, sure, but what do you got to be?
And, you know, we did it 3 times.
So I think-
Not with the cognitive, but together, you had a goal, you made it through,
But the
and
banks,
you had a
even
plan to get to the next step, and that's what you did, and you believed it.
And in the end, she's
I don't know.
21 years.
Yeah, it depends on that. I mean, technically,
That's amazing.
like,
We are doing
I
it,
mean, these were.
and I think we are in architecture schools.
Right.
Reasonably.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
Well, you don't have to be healthy, rich, you're not gonna be,
What was that?
but you're healthy.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Everyone had things.
Yeah,
I did have one.
People that will, they want to buy.
Yeah.
So that's how they will
One
make money.
right.
One review.
Dennis and I were talking
Okay.
about, we like this class so much, we said, what do
Yeah.
we wanna
So
do?
they
Just
actually
start a
got
company,
funding, like,
you know, to, yeah, we should.
5 million cash, 20
Yeah.
million letter.
What would be?
When the
Yeah.
financial system,
No, that's- that-
they were,
that-
we were in the middle of
Don't
growing.
laugh, but we might just do that.
Basically, set
That
up
is a, that is a
here,
good option.
and then set up all these sub-entities for different
Out there.
So they would have a
Sell
president.
them products that they want to
And
buy.
folks in
Yeah.
government.
All right.
So
Well,
instead
maybe
of
we'll talk to
having
you about that.
things kind of all run from
Directly
the same
operation.
body,
You
have
very
the
seriously.
president focuses on this government contracts, we
The next, yeah, the next class is.
Maybe we're really not very
No,
good.
it's about believing in the product and being able to sell it, but.
The parent company was IT and accounting for all
You
business.
see those Fuji things?
They have shared IT accounting services.
Fuji things.
The business.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, I can't remember the ads.
You can do that, and you can search them.
But,
Show them the
so it went
Japanese.
from one company, which I helped them establish, and then they got.
They get born, the first thing they come out and do is.
Moved the parent entity.
Yeah, oh, I have, seen- yeah, I have seen that.
You know, trying to do as much reuse of.
Japanese people are born with a camera.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
hosting servers in the main.
that's almost
That's
everywhere.
everybody.
They actually wanted servers.
Yeah.
No,
this
it's
is-
not-
Yeah.
You and I
this
were
is
not
about that.
born with.
So we were like, I was very happy.
Right.
Unless you're Japanese, then you're born with a camera.
Yeah,
Yeah, you learn how to learn these, you
Yeah.
also need to learn it
yeah.
together. I learned from you, you learn from me, that's how it goes.
It's kind of interesting myself. I tried to push it into some business.
You don't want
And now he's kind of in this.
But,
And it goes to him for help.
Well, it's just nice, I think, again, with some of the stuff they're talking about.
This is.
Like, you know, it's really cool.
Just
They like set up the search box on our laptops, because, oh, did you use virtual box? I mean, so it's like, everything that we've.
It wasn't like that. It was
We
like-
do, yeah, I mean, because if you run this stuff.
Right.
Kids are
You're so long with the
Get on
job.
this thing.
Oh, that's when they're exposed to it.
Right,
I mean,
there's,
But,
you know, pounding on my.
That time was the VCs.
Dennis and I were in the generation where you couldn't buy a database, you built your own database, relational database, and things
It's like
like
the low
that.
chart.
First
You
system
go to
that
low
we
chart.
put together was monitoring system, centralized monitoring,
Don't worry about it.
did network management
Talk to me next week.
and systems management. We would go ahead and screen scrape
And all of a sudden they
and
lags.
analyze, and we built our own regular expression processors and all of that.
Yeah, with things
And
there.
then a few years later, Unify came
Funding.
out, Sybase came out. Oh,
When things were going great, funding, it's like,
you see what I'm saying?
they're sharp.
And as you keep going, now all of a sudden, something
Yeah,
goes
as soon
out,
as the financial
and
systems
in my
are, they
mentality,
like,
now it's well built
linear.
still.
You know, 'cause they're
And
basically,
so,
here's 5 million
just
cat.
buy it.
Yeah.
So, buy it
Yeah,
and use
that's
it.
what I'm saying, okay,
It's not everything else is like, you know,
what do you need it for?
Yeah,
Just like,
it's,
what do you need it for?
it's.
They don't
call it-
Like a borrow.
But the
So
other
we
thing
only
is,
had
when I
some-
made a comment
the cool thing about
earlier,
PC
is how they're perusing the
Transaction.
availability
We
and
didn't get all the
capabilities and,
transfer ownership.
and that's what
And
we
the
can
contract
do.
is signed.
And the way I think
And so
about
they
it
owed
is
us
that
money.
when you want to be
And so they paid it
it's
to us
easier.
over,
to stand
some
on
employees.
shorter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
that's right.
You know, think of any technology, right? Now, my background is
We made
double
it. We
media.
negotiated. So
Yeah.
all that,
So, you know,
there was no
back
way.
then,
we could
you know, you don't like
As long as we met our obligations.
well, even the chips, right? I mean, now the microprocessor, you don't go back all the way to designing the transistor.
But then after that, we had enough ownership.
Finishing up next year.
Some more. We got in trouble.
They have these.
And plus we were there, which had one
There are
VC.
programmable software, very hard.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's called,
That's a-
But I guess,
Very
you know,
hard,
this
or
is-
it's completely programmable, you can create any circuit you want by writing some code, just small
I started, I
circuit.
decided I was gonna promote.
Wow.
For a while.
Cool.
That's why I'm working with.
Literally this small,
Someone-
almost like this. I found on that, that's a programmable board.
He's a pretty
And
good guy.
you write very long code and
I do all the-
transform to that.
We picked up one of those, so I picked up one of those. There's a commercial.
Oh, you did, it's,
Arduino?
it's.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's it called?
ARDUI.
And he was-
Right.
What's
And
he-
you programmed it in C.
Small firm.
It's a interpretive C. So it was really
It's
cool.
just not fun.
You know, there's some videos out
We
there.
want you
where
to-
people
we're
got
gonna
these
hire
things.
them.
It's amazing. Like,
So how many inputs and outputs?
it depends on the board you buy.
Yeah.
So Arduino is open source hardware.
Yeah. Yes.
Design it
Essentially,
essentially.
like there's
And
moving.
you can program it to do whatever you want, like open your garage, like your garage door, plug it in.
Right.
So you can,
I mean, you,
well, the board still has to support whatever that.
Connectivity is needed.
Yeah.
You need to have some connectivity.
Like LED.
that was before.
Well, you got the discretes.
Right. So you can, so what a lot of people do is light shows with them, so
Yeah.
things like that, you know,
Yeah.
they'll go out to relay more.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, that's really cool stuff.
I don't know if I have one.
Yeah, a lot of the companies are recording.
Yeah.
So, that's the fun part of.
So then it'll come to people thing.
You migrate from another country into this country,
Outsource IT.
India.
Yeah, for small business, you know, we're little,
Oh,
I
right.
should say.
So when you go to this country, so pull your plug. So what happens when you?
Well, I would love
pull
it.
the plug of the
I
electricity?
mean, like I have one company
You
right now.
just falls asleep or
You
you
become a manual engineer.
Servers,
Oh,
I don't know, yes, for, you know, any of these.
See, you stay up at night thinking about these things, don't you?
I worked half a standard median.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is the test.
Yeah.
By the way, you get class or you get.
It's
But
the new,
Yeah. Or somebody that, 24 single.
I think he
you know,
mentioned-
All right.
Yeah.
We buy something, you get delivered, then we send it out. We'll serve just like that one. Little, we just pull it over and we'll have it. Kind of literally.
It works in the public
Minutes
library.
later,
Okay.
it's already stuff. It's up and running.
And so you go to library card, you store the card number, and then rent a book from the library.
Wait,
The
see.
book you rent is
Speed of access.
the goal. When you
It's
read it,
not anymore. You get to see
Before-
between your office workers.
wonderful.
You know, they're email. They're
We'll see.
So anything you're working with.
Oh, I'm really intrigued by the idea of working with you.
You set up.
So,
You're set up.
And then so you don't have to be.
That is-
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to retire anyway.
I mean, we moved. Like, we started from last time, we had to order the land.
Full-time.
We moved. It was literally
Microsoft. Why not
Friday.
doing this?
You gotta move all the furniture, like
Yeah.
you say, over to the new place.
For years, I was working multiple jobs, when my previous marriage, well,
There
then
was no
I
hiccups.
I used to
Oh, yeah,
contract
it's
and
not
go
wrong.
and work for
We
Mikasa,
actually
who
were
perfect
on-
communications program. And I built a trouble ticketing system. Then I did that all,
I mean, just use
and the network management system.
that.
That was fun. Then I worked in Boeing full time too.
So,
And
shared
you
storage,
go to the legal and
box.
Yeah.
And
unless
Shared
you don't have
storage,
to.
sand.
Then you can't work.
I got a grandparent.
I don't.
I figured.
You got a red, white, blue car.
Yeah.
there was no box.
I'm getting a right blue card.
All right.
That's
right.
Yeah, check which side the heart is on.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody had laptops.
Oh,
Monitors,
Right in
keyboards.
blue card, I hope we can repair next time.
well, good. That's a test.
Everybody was required. It was
It's coming
considered.
in a few
You
months.
don't have-
Citizenship.
Yeah, I started studying civics and I know, big deal, all that.
You know, you could have gotten
More
this,
than
it was gone down
You know,
to Mexico and come back out.
Exactly. But, so if you need a lot of money, right?
Much easier, much faster. You
But-
can connect people.
You know, it was really funny. We went to Cabo San Lucas, is where I met my wife. And,
You know, Jira.
a long story, went back again
So
for
there
a honeymoon.
was stuff.
And we were walking down to one of the shopping centers. Cabo San Lucas is pretty
So, and all of our tests. were-
upgraded and upscale. And
So.
we were talking to some of the young kids that were outside. And here we are, Americans talking to some of the Mexicans. They talk well. And they were going, well, we tried to cross the border and get them to
We did
US, because, you know, there's better work.
Um,
And I said, well, how'd you do? And the kid goes,
Either
they caught
found
me and sent me back. And I thought, I didn't think about that, because I was just talking to them just like this was my neighbor. And the nice people, you know, and it's about borders.
And we're Everything that we have a lot of.
Well, see, that's my point.
Just
Yeah,
they just have a desire to do some things that.
well, they want to be better.
They don't eat, they want to survive, no problem. Yeah. It's like India.
But India is pulling itself up and,
It was just.
I would buy that, I buy that now.
And I think that's why the DC.
I know, but it is.
So you've got, in India,
Well, rather than
railroad park,
because.
the railroad rip,
Real
real separation. Real- Yeah.
This country has not much demand.
Well, it's two transitions. You got all,
Their customers, customers going to get by them.
yes, yes.
Almost everybody.
So we.
Well, they should be able to go down to the
There's
church
food
or
banks or
whatever.
So,
Yeah.
for updating.
You know, maybe this is an assumption, but part of that is because of
It costs a moving target. That was what we looked at.
farming, right? I mean, it's their,
It's the exact directions.
Yeah.
That is very good, because you're going to do whatever you need to do to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
But isn't it, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that,
Here's your email, we saw it.
but people aren't as willing to help,
And then bonds,
right?
as our central repository.
Isn't it?
Insurance, all our data, all our tests.
We had similar problems with the.
The way you do things like that is video, right?
Surprise, surprise.
We did some
We were
research
small.
on
We called it Andy when we came here, right? There was a comedian that goes, they arrived and they go, "We're not Indians." Nah, you're Indian.
In fact, like all this stuff,
Yeah.
who makes me tell everybody, but you know what?
Very
I'm Indian,
So in our test lead,
As opposed to, like some Venezuelan, you would say, hey, I'm a Venezuelan from Peru.
you know.
How do you say that?
That's right.
Venezuelan from Venezuela. I have to go and describe to everybody that I am an Indian from.
Oh, it is such a confusing thing. It's like,
Dude.
yeah, you'll be an American Indian, but you'll
No,
be an
no, no.
Indian American.
It's Native American.
No.
It's different. Indian American, American.
Oh, my God. That was so funny. Nah, you're Indian.
Very good Indian.
We will talk to you Monday.
Overdrive, library, yeah, name is
I
McDonald.
think it's just
It's only
amazing.
300 pages.
That's
Yes, it's a novel, it's not a
Oh, that's
classic.
real live,
Uh,
live
It's a
awesome.
novel, it's a story.
Yeah, you have to use.
But I will tell you the story, man.
One quick thing on a, opposite that,
Yeah,
so no cloud, and otherwise.
Procedure, whatever, I think.
so we would have
I
our whole
paid
team,
for the second two courses.
we have our whole
That's
team
fun.
on one
Yeah.
doc.
That's
If
fine.
we're running
I
out
think
of
we're
work, so that
how
would
it's-
work.
whether we've been
So that
better
would-
off 3 or 2,
CIO,
1 and 2. Just, I need something back to volunteer.
engineering manager, emergency engineer.
I see, so you need a certificate for the first section. I get it. I understand. I produce one.
Different
When you need
person.
that,
Coming
I don't
back
know.
to
You have
you
30
and making
days
sure that everything was good and safe.
From graduation.
You know what that play,
From
we
last
we
day.
play a game, so
And
the
making
game that I
those-
play,
You
is
tell me that.
Until we went to the strike to
it's
share.
30 days from the last day that you put in for the voucher.
They didn't
And
send
hopefully, you gave yourself some extra time for the voucher to
Yeah,
start.
They added it, but it
They
just
say
say
30
30
days
days
from,
30 days from,
better than the way the voucher was first put in.
No.
No, from the day that you
I
have
say
to
you
hand
No.
it.
start and
The
stop
version
in the
rather than
voucher.
try- so if you're
30
using
days
Excel,
from
it's
stop.
proper.
Oh, got it.
So
Who's
when
being the
when the lecture classes end,
But you can
April
open it
15th,
locally, you can do that, but you can't do the live editing.
and what that says
So
is,
similar.
you got plenty of time to give me the 3
Well,
certificates.
I will say you got 30 days
We
from
just did
today.
So you, fine. So I didn't produce that.
I'm
If
just.
you can please email me a reminder, I will have to prepare a paper and then give it to this
I
university.
get a lot of data.
They sign, I sign, and then
That
we
has
give.
to be shared.
Okay.
And in the interim, I'll give you a soft copy. If
Okay.
as the signature is pending, I will give you a
Oh,
soft
that'll
copy
work.
email.
Yeah.
And then you can all do it.
Sounds good.
All
Thank you.
right.
Both access
We'll
and
talk
ship
to you later.
together, handle all that collision, really well.
Right.
So,
So did the PDF download?
it did. You know what it was? It was the other links. They're all document number. You said when you asked me to review those. Sure.
They're not only to you, right? Those-
Yeah. So those are all documents, not that.
I'll check my email and then. Yeah, but please review the PDF. I want you to review.
I got the PDF.
The way I would like you to review is, am I teaching the way I'm describing in the PDF, or am I doing something else?
Okay.
That's the thing I want you to pick on that, because
Okay.
this is, I wrote the PDF file which describes the curriculum and what are we doing, but are we doing that? And if we are not doing something, we should do that. And also, if we're doing something and it's not written in the PDF, we should write that.
I got the notes. I
know.
got some of it, because you cover a lot of ground, in the class.
Right. And so not all of it is represented in the write-up.
No, I briefly looked at the first one for this, like, oh, yeah, well, it's not, there's no way it could be in there, it's like one page, right?
I know.
There's no way you could fit it all.
I can maybe make it 2 pages, maybe 3 pages, but it's I'm gonna capture it somewhere. So what do we actually cover?
Well,
And so there are 2 ways to look about this, is what is written versus what is being done, and how do we synchronize the two. Sometimes we not write about it in the PDF, and sometimes we don't do it in the class. I don't know which way is true. I want to do both.
right, and sometimes
Do
you
what
get
you
off
write,
because
write what
students
you do.
want to learn about
Right,
something
right.
and
So you're
do
gonna do
grow
what we-
on that subject.
We will do what we write and write what we do.
I did have a question for you,
Yes.
as far as, so actually I have a couple. So have you considered doing like a 1-day voucher, like guest pass at a gym? And if you, and just send it out email or some like a website, say, that I could send out the link to that website. Goes, hey, if you want to check out the class for DevOps that's coming up on Monday, go check out this link, register as a guest for 1 day. You get their email, you get their contact information. And if they don't show up, you can put them on the subscribe list for your. But it gives somebody something, because right, it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna stop at the gym because I know I can just walk in as a guest any day I want. But when you have that little thing, oh, I only have one of these, and it's only, it has a limited time and it expires. I'm gonna go use it. So-
Good idea.
Because there's some guys been asking me about it. I say, just come in, and so I don't think but if I give them something, say,
Yeah, something to hand. That
or
helps.
at least a website that is, this offer expires and whatever.
Some time condition.
Right.
That I think you have a great point.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the other question that I had is that this is really awesome, the stuff that you're teaching in the class, especially bringing people from zero or from wherever they're at that's not really invested in the cloud to bring it to the point where they can actually enter ops. But for a lot of other people, they're invested in, I want to learn things, but I want to bring something tangible
Right.
to my employer. So have you ever thought about, hey, if you take this class and then you go take AWS Architect or whatever, you'll do well, and read this book, or read this one book of this person, and just something on the other end of that to motivate people. Ooh, if I get out of the other side of this class, I'll be ready to take my AWS Architect. Or I know Google was offering a cloud thing, and then I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they kind of stopped that certification program.
Yeah.
The thing I think about is the first month we dedicate on bring people up to speed, and the second month we go deep with Chef. So the part that people we find tangible, the most tangible work that they will do is actually in the second and third month. The second month we'll start with a small discussion on the whole book, describe what it is, how it applies to software development, how it applies to cloud services delivery, and then quickly switch over to using basic tools in Chef, understanding its architecture, understanding its terminologies, the thing that I've written down in the PDF, which is you will eventually read. The idea behind the second month is to actually practice the tool that we have, Chef tool, in depth, quite a bit. And so if you are really new and on the very one, the first month, you will be at loss if you just start at the second month.
Right.
People that just start, people who think they are smart want to start at the beginning of the second month, and they struggle sometimes because they may not be aware of certain things that we have covered already, fundamentals or, at least the infrastructure level, infrastructure and platform layer. People have used software as a service. Quite a bit of people have used some software already. Most of us already use without being aware of it. But understanding basic concepts of cloud computing helps them. Some other things that people find useful is, using Git, using terminal commands, operating on cloud services. In the context behind how do we actually put Chef to use in real life, with a given example that you saw the demo the other day, right? I showed you WordPress deployment.
Oh, yeah.
So we will build out those components as we proceed in the second month and to actually create something meaningful in the second month of the class. And then in the third month, I would like you to take on a project for an existing client of yours and build it with us in the class and then sell it, make money. That's the ideal outcome. So if you have a particular customer in mind, get their requirements and then do it in the class. I'll help you. And I don't expect anything from what you get from the customer. It's your money.
Yeah. Like what kind of projects?
So the scope is what you get to define, is how much you want to actually finish off in the month that we have, the third month. And so depending on the amount of time that you have, and if you have an existing project, you can need to work on that. Or depends on what customer relationships or existing pipeline projects that you already have. Maybe pick one of those as an example exercise.
Right.
And do that. But that would be ideal. And I'll help you as we proceed along. The work in this class is hands-on mostly.
Right.
There is some discussion, there is some lecturing, if you will. Although I don't tend to lecture too much. Hope I'm not lecturing.
It's hands-on lecturing.
Yeah.
That makes sense, but you're actually doing it and talking, explaining. It's not more of someone standing on a podium and taking notes. Yeah, you're actually sitting down. Can we do a Raspberry Pi OpenStack cluster? Yeah.
We can do a laptop cluster because I don't have a Raspberry ready, but I have a.
I was going to pick up like 3 Raspberries. That's what I was thinking.
No flash photography.
What's that?
I guess that's some weird issue if you take a flash camera near it, it causes it to become unstable.
Oh, really? Is that the B2 or what is
The
that?
new one is,
Oh, the B1.
the new one, yeah.
I think the new one's 2.
Yeah, the new
Oh,
one.
really?
So if you have Raspberry Pis, let's try them out.
Well, they were on sale, and I was like, I'm picking up 3. That's just too good of a deal.
How much is that?
The Raspberry Pi 2s.
B1s.
Uh,
I want to say the B1s at Amazon
it's
Were-
cheap.
were like at 30
30.
from Amazon.
Totally you can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and then a little flash drives. I think they'll leave the wireless dongle on the wall, so when they communicate with it. It'd be slow, but you can still. That's enough to bring up a decent, but at least a functioning
Functioning,
OpenStack cluster.
yes. And with the QCOW2 machine deployed or something.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You can do it all in VM.
Yeah, in fact, we have set up that in the class third month. We bring a machine with the OpenStack and actually do what is known as a Red Hat-based variation pack.
I mean, I could do it on mine. too.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, inside, in your laptop, your laptop can handle the VM comfortably. The other laptops I'm worried about.
But if you need 3 simultaneous VMs,
No, one VM.
one VM?
One VM self-contained, and in that VM, you put VMs.
Oh, okay.
So the VM on top of VM is possible on your laptop.
Right.
Not every laptop can do it. So you have to carve out a machine with a 4 GB RAM, virtual machine with 4 GB RAM, and then configure that virtual machine as your host for OpenStack. You can then deploy a complete OpenStack single machine deployment, which will create virtual machines inside the VM.
Oh, okay.
That is possible on your laptop.
Right.
not others. Bring your Raspberry idea, and if you have it already in some process, then let's finish off with exercise before the class season.
Okay,
Yeah, so then let's put the project together, write it up.
yeah, and I'll demonstrate it to you,
Yeah,
show that
wonderful.
that's worth.
Yep, absolutely, let's do it, let's do it.
All right, see you guys later.
Yep.
So what's your, you mentioned before, like, what's your opinion between Google Apps and Office 365?
So this user's perspective, I will tell you, what
Yeah.
users see, end user.
Right.
People who are using Outlook hate Google Apps. Really hate.
Right,
They're not comfortable with the Gmail look and feel,
right.
and they don't want it. So to overcome that problem, Google has developed a product that I'm not sure you know that. But here it is.
Oh, yeah.
You seen this before?
Yeah,
So this will make Outlook work with Google Apps,
right, yeah,
almost like Exchange.
right. Yeah, I used it when it first came out, it was super buggy. Super
That was the
buggy.
problem, right? It was really bad. Now it is okay.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but it's okay. So that's the workaround. The people who want to use Google services, Google Drive and other things, and they find it convenient, but then at least some of their organizational members will dislike the Google interface, the Gmail interface.
Right,
They want to use Outlook. They have to have Outlook. And for them, this is it,
right, because then it'll synchronize context calendar.
everything.
Yeah,
And if you take that route, Google App is cheaper.
Yeah.
If you go Office 365, there are expensive pricing, $20 a seat available. So all the way down to $6 a seat.
right,
So it's a range of pricing that you can get with Office. However, Google is set at 6, I think.
yeah,
So the price differences, that's one way to think about. The other thing is that if you have other applications inside your company that are already Microsoft centric,
Right.
people tend to prefer Office 365.
right. Yeah, if you're already using, Office, then it's just easier to transition into it.
If people are comfortable with Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, they will keep using that. So it's what I call, what you're used to.
Yeah,
Like people are used to something. People are used to Windows 95. They're still using Windows XP. I mean,
right,
yeah, they're still using Windows XP.
Yeah.
They don't want to move. And my wife is stuck at Windows 7. She does not want to go Windows 8 at all.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I don't
not
blame
at all.
you.
No Windows 8 at all. I
Yeah.
mean, I offered her, take a Mac. No. Take Windows 8. No. Nothing. Only Windows 7. No matter what I do, she will not move away from the laptop. That is her laptop. It has keys broken on the keyboard. Still, Windows 7. She has machines in the home, but no, not touching it.
Right, it's just kind of that familiarity. You know where everything is.
Yes,
and
yes.
that's-
In fact,
you can
I have
be
noticed,
most
and
productive.
right, and so little changes like bookmark shifting is a problem. You and I don't feel that as a problem, but people do.
Right.
Like your bookmark sequences go like this. Oh, where did my bookmark go? Ha! It's right there. No, it has to be at that spot. My views sometimes change, right? My representation of views of some browser settings might change and
Right,
throws people off completely. And the root cause of this, and in fact, just a few weeks ago, I was setting up Google Apps for this company, this organization. It is a military organization in Lakewood.
Okay.
So they migrated to Google Apps for work. And I told everybody in the organization and all that, and they now have Google Apps working. So this is the organization. And after the migration happened from GoDaddy to Google Apps,
Mhm.
with GoDaddy they were using Outlook.
Right.
And
just GoDaddy Pop or
IMAP,
Yeah.
and no calendar sync and no nothing. And so Google gave them this calendar, contacts and everything, and all shared meetings, Hangouts.
Mhm.
But the CEO did not like the Gmail interface
Mhm.
at all, like at all. She called me 3 times.
Yeah.
How do I sort my email by sender? Oh, I said, okay, I understand.
Right.
And I said, you want to give that a shot, the software, this shot? And she said, I will try. And she then tried it for a long time. Her mailbox is huge. It took 3 days for the mailbox to sync. And that got her frustrated. And
Right.
she said, you know what? I'm thankful that you helped us migrate from GoDaddy to Google Apps. And everybody in my organization is actually loving Google Apps, except me.
Right.
I am not loving it, and I don't want it. So can I take my account to GoDaddy and be there while everybody else is using Gmail? And I said, no,
Yeah.
you're gonna go, the whole company goes back to GoDaddy, or just stay where you are on Google. And so she says, whatever, I'm going to pay money and get Office 365. And I said, fine, move. Move to, so now they're moving to Office 365. And that's the nightmare. So one person, and of course she is the CEO, and she
Right.
just does not like Gmail interface no matter what you can do. And she says, I'm okay with it. If it is my personal thing, I can deal with Gmail, but it is my business and I have to have the way that I am used to, and I cannot tolerate other things. Like she wants to sort her email by sender.
Mhm.
I don't know how to do it in Gmail. I mean, there is no easy way. There are ways to filter,
Mhm.
but then how do I train that lady?
In the web app
And
interface.
the web app interface. You can filter.
Yeah.
You can put filters and do this and that. But how do I train that lady? And I'm volunteering here, right? This is a volunteer project for me.
Right, right.
So how much support can I offer her? And she says, I need help. And I said, I cannot do what you exactly want us to do, is sort by sender,
Right.
only in Outlook.
Yeah.
So, no,
Were you using the Sync or Google App Sync?
yeah, I did. On her, she took 3 days to synchronize, and that just messed her up.
Right.
I don't want it. I said, fine.
Yeah, they need to have a better way where you can just log in into the back end.
They need to-
Yeah, and just upload emails. 'Cause
They need, Google needs
it's
to improve.
painfully slow.
Yes, Google needs to improve. And it is not, for migration, it is not clean. And
Yeah.
the migration process is painfully long.
Yeah, I had problems with one going from Outlook on Mac to getting it synced up to Google Apps. And I ended up taking all their email out of Outlook for Mac and Outlook 2011
Hmm.
and moving it into Mac Mail because it worked a lot better.
Hmm.
This was not too long after Outlook 2011 came out, but it was just painful.
Yeah.
And it started creating all these weird folders in Gmail and all these other weird problems. But I mean, this was a few years ago.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it's for like companies that are just starting and everyone's used to using Gmail. It's perfect.
Yes,
They don't
yes,
even need Outlook.
exactly.
Just
They don't-
use the interface.
exactly.
Email interface.
I somehow succeeded in making my wife not use Outlook.
Mhm.
She was also bent upon using Outlook for one single reason.
Mhm.
I need to have my reminders and the calendar pop up and snooze.
Mm,
And I cannot do that in the iPad and nowhere else but Outlook. And I want Outlook.
right.
And this is like 5 years ago. And I'm
Okay.
slowly nudging her away from Outlook because I know it's going to go away eventually because the way evolution is happening. I don't want to use Microsoft services.
Right.
And so I'm trying to slowly nudge away from her using Outlook. And then now she's okay with the Google interface and she's okay with Gmail, which is fine.
Right. And you can get the pop-ups now.
Huh?
You get the desktop.
Yeah, desktop
Desktop
notifications, right.
for Gmail.
You cannot snooze them though.
Oh, okay.
She
Right.
wanted a Outlook style snooze, come back
Right.
later. That was her method of reminding herself to do things. It was her to-do list. She was using calendar as a to-do list. And I
Gotcha.
said, there is a to-do list app in your phone. It's called the Reminders app on the iPhone. Use it.
Right.
No, I want the Outlook. I said, okay, Outlook. So people want what they want, and if you don't give it to them, they're not happy.
Yeah.
And people not ready to change. Not ready to change. A tiny little change of bookmarks moving from here to there. Oh, it causes havoc. I get called. My wife calls me, hey, where is my bookmark? And she cannot find it at that spot. She'll call me. Where is my bookmark?
Right, right.
Just look on the side. No.
Yeah.
So I'm the tech support in my home, like most
Right,
people.
right.
Yeah. I'm the tech support for my home, my India home, my parents, my brother,
Yeah.
and organizations like this. This is a non-profit, by the way, for soldiers.
Yeah.
So they have a bunch of people and the advisory board and basically help out soldiers.
So, okay, kind of post, like
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
get
after-
out,
after
come
the-
back to re-integrate with civilian
Yep.
life. Yeah, I think Microsoft's done a good job of getting people hooked on their products.
Keeping them.
Yeah.
How long can you keep? If you're keeping them, but then you are also at the same time, gouging them in some sense, right? You almost, I feel they're gouging in the sense that if you look at this pricing, am I still recording or something or what? I think I am.